free.
Find the finest fall offers at BMW of Atlantic City. Right now, lease a new 2024 BMW i4 eDrive 40 for $499 a month with $5,679 due at signing. Or lease a new 2025 BMW iX xDrive 50 for $699 a month with $6,419 due at signing, both for 36 months at BMW of Atlantic City. Closer than you think. Located in Egg Harbor Township. Online at bmwatlanticcity.com. Offers expire October 31st. For more details, call 609-316-2393.
Make your second bathroom second to none with up to 40% off select online bath at the Home Depot. Subject to availability. Visit homedepot.com for details.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him. It's a sack.
Sixers.
Oh, baby.
And Flyers.
He scored.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Isn't it about time for somebody's favorite radio program? Yeah.
97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
When I'm driving, I got a guy on the radio who talks to me. I can't see him, but he talks to me.
Now, live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Mike Gill.
Here it is, 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Football at their own 4. Van Sumeren is in to play fullback. Give goes to Barkley. He breaks 2 tackles, 3. He's at the 30. He's at the 40. He's at the 45. And he carries 3 Giants to the 49-yard line.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to hear that. I think I kind of, I didn't help myself when I said earlier in the week I didn't think I was going to get booed. But, they're booing for a reason. It's a compliment at the end of the day. That's how I took it. So,
as heard on 97.3 ESPN, Saquon Barkley steals the show as the Eagles dominate the Giants 28-3. The Sports Bash is live at the Fanatic Sportsbook at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. One of the more dominating performances of the weekend. In the NFL, we don't see a lot of blowouts. We don't see a lot of games where there is just an absolute dominating performance by one team. In the NFL, a league that is filled with one-score games, do we leave impressed by what we saw from the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday? The Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Mike Gill, Josh Henning producing today's show. My on-site producer is Pete Giordano. And guys, you take a look at it. It was basically everywhere you slice it. A dominating performance on the ground, big plays in the pass game, a suffocating performance from the defense. And I know a lot of people's answer will be, well, it's only the Giants. But aren't there steps to getting to where you need to get to? Don't we get to a point sometimes that you have to take that first step to get to the step that you need to get to? And you wonder if that's the first step of saying, you know what? Maybe the Eagles are finally back. This is a team that has been so aesthetically unpleasing. They have been so difficult to watch at times, even in victories. Was that victory on Sunday a victory that you say, you know what? I feel like maybe they're turning a corner. That maybe finally this team is getting to a point where they're taking the step into the right direction. There's a lot of reasons to believe that the answer to that question is yes, if you simply watch the game. Now, there are other reasons to say, I don't know what the answer to that question is. One, they didn't score again in the first quarter, which is almost incomprehensible. You almost can't understand how a team with this offensive talent cannot score in the first quarter of a football game. So they get off to another slow start. That's one. Two, you have a situation where it's a 4th down and 3, and yes, they get a touchdown pass to A.J. Brown, but they again go to a play that you're like, what are you doing on 4th down and 3? You got to throw the ball 40 yards down the field, and you're wondering, what is this offense? That's 2. 3. You're in a situation where you have a ton of reasons on the defensive side of the ball to be happy. 8 sacks, 119 yards given up in the entire game, but you might say, well, this Giants team is pretty terrible. And they are. The Giants have scored 1 offensive touchdown in their home building the entire season. None yesterday.
The Eagles dominated all over up front. The 8 sacks. I don't know if you saw, guys, after the game, Nick Sirianni in the locker room. I don't know, who was the guy? Who was that guy?
I don't know, but he was calling out how many sacks the D had.
He had the 119 yards, and then he said, and 8 sacks. And, Sirianni goes, hey, I think we got our mojo back with those sacks. Does this defense, and I talked about this Friday, I think the defense has room for growth. I think the defense is growing. I think the defense is growing as Vic Fangio is getting more familiar with his personnel. I think the defense is getting better in terms of he knows his guys more, and he's trusting them more, and he's doing more with them. Football is an evolution. It's an evolving week-to-week thing. And as you get players in your system, you begin to get more comfort. You get a comfort and familiarity with those guys to see what they can and cannot do. And I think that Fangio is feeling more comfortable with, look, he called multiple blitzes yesterday. He's not a guy that likes to blitz all that much. How many sacks did Kobe Dean have yesterday? 2 or 3, right? He had 2 sacks.
Dean had 2.
Dean had 2, but both the Deans came off of kind of delayed blitzes, kind of disguised blitzes. Josh Sweat had a sack early. I think Bryce Huff had a sack in the game yesterday. I don't know. I'm interested to see, okay, as we'll open up the text board, 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973. I'm interested to see, guys, all right? And I'll ask you two for your opinion. Do you feel people were impressed with that win or more, it was the Giants?
I would say that they're impressed by the Barkley game. You haven't even mentioned Saquon yet. But
you think they were more impressed by what Barkley did than anything else?
The side of the ball, yes.
Like that's the story of the game, Barkley.
To me, yes. And what Kellen Moore was able to do, not so much in the first quarter, obviously, but as the game.
Like, is that a game that you think people who were very down on this team last week and the coach got, had a rough week?
That's what happens when you rip the coach for a week, by the way.
Well,
all your dreams come true.
So
you got your play action.
I did. I got a fullback yesterday too. I got a fullback. And by the way, if you go and look back at the plays where they had Ben Van Sumeren in at fullback, those plays worked. I mean, he had a blowout block of Ojulari where he blasted him. And it opened up. He had a big block on the 41-yard that we played at the beginning of the show today. He had a big block on that run for Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
So do you guys think the story is for Saquon Barkley, and I am starting to believe that this offense is turning the corner, or is it still, you only beat the Giants? Which one do you got, Josh?
See, I'm impressed with the win yesterday. And the reason why I dismiss the people who are unimpressed, Mike, is because of the fact that the people who are unimpressed aren't those the same people who would complain, well, you only beat the Browns by 4 points, right? Isn't the people who would say, you only beat the Giants by 3, wouldn't they be the same people in this situation? So to me, I look at it as some people, no matter what you do, they're going to be unhappy. I'm impressed because you beat down a team you're supposed to beat, and you brought the backups in the fourth quarter.
But that's the
what
problem.
You're supposed to do.
That's the problem. Okay, you just said it. You beat a team you're supposed to beat. So when you're supposed to beat a team, that takes away you being impressed by the victory sometimes, because we live in a society that is expecting. We expect you to beat a team like that. So there is no growth from the fan base a lot of times when you beat a team that you're supposed to beat in that manner. And it's almost like, well, that's what you're supposed to do against that team. I'm not going to pat you on the back for that, but is that the kind of game, this team last year, they played the Giants and lost. They played the Giants on Christmas Day, a team that they were clearly better than up at that point of the season, and struggled their way through a victory. They played a Cardinals team last year that they couldn't figure out a way to beat. They played a Seahawks team So this was a game that you're like, yeah, I expect you to be, but I don't think people were expecting them to do what they did yesterday. I think people were kind of had trepidation going into this game. So the way this game turned out yesterday, does this make you say, you know what? I thought this game was going to be a lot tougher than it was, and they showed me something yesterday.
I think I'm going to have that feeling this Sunday against the Bengals at Cincinnati against Joe Burrow.
That's a sneaky
gonna be
game,
my
and we'll
feeling.
certainly get into that game all
Right.
throughout the week because, you look at the Bengals' record. They played the Giants last week. The score was 17-7.
And they played the Browns yesterday.
So they didn't roll and play the Giants and blow their doors off, and they didn't blow the Browns' doors off yesterday. But that being said, the Eagles not only won the game, they won the game handily, and it wasn't close ever. I mean, it was the first time, really, I'm going to go back to, I guess, the Miami game last year? The Miami game last year that you won a game
In
where
prime
you
time.
really didn't have to worry about it in the fourth quarter. Like, it was one of the more dominating NFL performances. You just don't see performances like that in the NFL that often anymore, where you just absolutely, dominated. They had 119 total yards in the game. Total yards. And the Eagles had 8 sacks. That's total domination up front. It's total domination on the defensive side of the ball. And I actually think that the Eagles' defense, to me, you just said it's the Barkley game. I think the Eagles' defense turned a corner on Sunday. They've put back-to-back solid performances up, and I think Vic Fangio is starting to find and feel his way through a little bit more and a little bit more, and he's starting to expand a little bit more what he wants to do. I think adding Cooper DeJean has helped this team out. I think getting more pass rush. I don't know where this pass rush is coming from, and I don't know if it's a byproduct of the Browns' offensive line and the Giant offensive line.
Daniel Jones.
But they've got more pass rush all of a sudden. How are they manufacturing that pass rush? Are they just getting better push, or are they designing and scheming better? I think the defense is definitely something we can talk about more. I think Quinyon Mitchell, I think they found something there. I think with Mitchell and DeJean, they found 2 guys in the draft that are wins.
Yep.
And there's a lot to talk about in this game. I'm fascinated by the response today from the listeners at 609-403-0973. We'll fire up the text board because I'm interested to see, did people watch that game yesterday and say, all right, now I'm buying. This team's 4-2, and Pete, as you said a couple times, they're a drop pass from Saquon Barkley, your best offensive talent. I want to ask this question. Where would this team be without Saquon Barkley? What is this team without Saquon Barkley? But they're a dropped Saquon Barkley pass away from being 5-1. And if they were 5-1 right now, would we be talking about this team on the same level as Detroit? Would we be talking about this team on the same level as, I don't know who else you want to throw in there.
Still throw in there Minnesota. That was a good game yesterday.
Yeah, that was good. No, I think Minnesota.
Minnesota's still a good team.
In my Fine Five last week, I had Detroit 1 and Minnesota 2. I think right now they might be the 2 best teams in the league. San Francisco, I think, we talked about San Francisco before the season started. We threw that stat out there, right? We threw that stat out there, which was no NFC team has lost the Super Bowl one year and made it back to the Super Bowl the next since 1974, 1975. So the 49ers had it stacked up against them coming into this year, and the injuries. I think a lot of that is the injuries. You play deep into February or deep into the season, getting into February, the injuries. They're crippled right now. No Christian McCaffrey. Ayuk looks like he's going to be out for the year. Deebo Samuel, who's on my fantasy team, for God's sakes. He got sick in the game yesterday and couldn't play. They got injuries all over the place that I just think they can't overcome, and they're falling apart. But if the Eagles catch that ball in the game against Atlanta, are we talking about a 5-1 team? And are we talking about more of putting them on the level of the Detroits, the Minnesotas? Man, the NFC just doesn't have that marquee. Detroit right now is the marquee team to me. I don't know who else is on that Detroit level. Maybe Minnesota. On the AFC side, are they on the Baltimore, Kansas City? Like, if they catch that ball, are we having a completely different conversation? And are we feeling so much differently about this team than we feel at 4-2?
We absolutely are, because of the fact that we as sports fans treat these records sometimes a little bit with more weight than probably we should. You mentioned
it's the Bill Parcells theory,
right? But the problem with the Bill Parcells theory is, Pete, you and I could sit here and lose an hour of our life researching all the times teams went 14-2 and 13-3 and never made it to a championship.
10-1 last year with the Eagles,
right? So the record we so overvalue that it creates this like false perception sometimes.
Well, listen. The 4-2 record.
You can only play who was in front of you.
You
only
can.
play those teams.
So is the 4-2 record deceiving? Are they
little bit.
not a team that? Do they feel like a 4-2 team, or do they feel lesser than a 4-2 team?
I would say they feel like a 4-2 team.
So you feel that this team,
They've
you
had
guys
some good
feel
games. They've had some struggles.
You feel that this team at 4-2. I mean, you feel like a 4-2 team is. I don't know. Do they feel like a wild card team? Do they feel like a NFC championship level team? Like when you see that 4-2 and watch that team play, where do you put the ceiling of this team? Is it a Super Bowl team?
I still think it's call me in December. I mean, I still got to see them play Cincinnati. I still got to see them come
well,
out.
Now, you want to take the easy way out here. You want more information.
Of course I do.
I'd like to make a proclamation with the information you have right now. With the information you have right now,
I cannot commit.
What is the ceiling of this team?
I cannot
I mean, this is the guy
commit.
last night that texted the first quarter about how bad Russell Wilson is, and then 2 quarters later he's saying, well, of course, they had Fields and Noodle Arm out there.
To be fair, it was after that screen pass by Wilson that was just terrible. I mean, I've never seen something like that before.
Squirted out of his head.
But with all that said, I still can't commit to.
Hey, listen, I would
NFC
like more
championship.
information, too. I have 6 games of resume right now. I have 6 games of resume. And for me, this game yesterday, I think had to. And I haven't seen the text board. Josh, we'll get the text rolling here in just a minute.
Yep.
I have to think, Sirianni, by the way, if I'm Nick Sirianni, he had every right yesterday to come out after that game and be like, listen, everybody was critical of this team and critical of me with good reason. But I hope we calm some people down a little bit with that. I saw this stat after the game. I don't think people realize this about Nick Sirianni. And you might not be a big Nick Sirianni fan, and I'm not saying that you have to be. But what I would say is this. It's not easy to win in the NFL. And people just act like, you can just have the most talent and line up and win. And it's just not that way in the NFL. That's not the way the NFL works. You don't just line up and win because you have the most talent. This league, the talent disparity is so small. And think about this, okay? I want you guys to think about this and tell me what you think it says. With Nick Sirianni as the head coach, Philadelphia has the second best road winning percentage in the league. They are 20-9. You know how hard it is to win a road NFL game? And they are winning 70% of their road games with Nick Sirianni. The only team better is Kansas City, and it's by 1 game. They're 20-7, and you're 20-9, so by 2 losses. Think about this. With the win yesterday, the Eagles have the second best record in football since Nick Sirianni has been hired. They are 29-11, and Kansas City is 30-9. So as much as we're like, Sirianni this and blah, 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 and this guy, what does that say?
Well,
what
Mike,
do those records say? Are we overvaluing the coach? Are we overvaluing or over-criticizing him? Does he get the last laugh with that game yesterday? Like, hey, you guys all took me as unprepared, that people don't want to play for me, and we had the most dominating performance of the week in the NFL.
Well, the NFL just answered your question, Mike, and they say they're not impressed because the news just came out. The Eagles-Jags game has been removed from Sunday Night Football. The Colts and Vikings will play Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Jags and Eagles will play at 4:05 on CBS.
Okay, so I thought that the window had been closed for that. Josh and I were talking about that today. That's the second game in a row now that Philadelphia has had their game moved out of a prime spot and into a lesser spot. Now, that said, Jacksonville might have a reason there. They're 2-5. Although you thought maybe Doug Peterson coming back to Philadelphia would have been more of a story than whatever you're getting from Minnesota and Indianapolis. I don't know how you're selling that one, to me and say, hey, I'm interested in that more than I am Doug Peterson coming back. Maybe they just say, hey, only Philadelphia cares about Peterson coming back to Philadelphia. But I definitely think that they could have made a bigger story. And look, Jacksonville won handily yesterday in
they looked way better yesterday in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and there's another coach who was embattled, and people talking about him losing the team. Now, I get it. They're playing New England, but they came out and played a clean, fluid football game in London after being there for 2 weeks in a row. I don't know. I'd like to get the information from the people out there. 609-403-0973. Do you leave impressed by that game? Do you leave, it's only the Giants? What is your takeaway about the numbers I just threw out there about Nick Sirianni? The road record, that to me is what stood out. I knew his record was very good. I know his road record, his overall record as the Philadelphia Eagles head coach. I think he's second in football. But the road record, it's tough to win road football games, and this team's winning 70% of their road football games. All right, give me some text messages. What do we got?
Yeah, I got a bunch to get to here, Mike. So let's get to some of them here. Nick from Galloway chimes in and says, "We will give the Eagles you-know-what for not beating the Browns by enough, so we should give them credit for stomping the Giants. I'm not booking Super Bowl tickets, but it's good to see them doing what they should do." That's from Nick in Galloway.
So it sounds like it's guarded optimism from Nick.
It was just refreshing to see. After we just saw the Tampa Bay highlights, Eagles-Tampa Bay, we're watching these highlights. That was an awful game. Now, granted, they were injured, but just refreshing to see.
Yeah, I mean, you just brought up a good point, though, Pete, this is really the first game offensively. Now, it's still not the offense. It's still not, doesn't feel like, they scored 28 points. They had the big play to A.J. Brown. It doesn't feel, though, like this offense is fluid and clean still. I mean, you did it by just absolutely ambushing them in the run game yesterday. I think they had over 250 yards rushing against the Giants yesterday.
And Hurts only threw the ball 14 times. 10 out of 14.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the offense wasn't this high-flying,
he wasn't,
like, hey, we got everybody involved. We had big play here, a big play there. We did it on slant routes, crossing routes, deep balls. I mean, you had the one big play to A.J. Brown in the pass game. Other than that, they didn't really do much. I don't remember anybody else even being involved in the pass game yesterday. My God, I don't know. Did Devontae Smith have a catch?
Devontae Smith actually got me no points in fantasy yesterday, so I know he had no impact on the game.
Okay, so he had nothing. Dotson did nothing. Calcaterra might have caught one ball. I think I remember him catching. I mean, in the pass game yesterday, I don't remember anybody other than Brown having a factor in the game.
So A.J. Brown had 5 catches. Saquon had 2. Gainwell had 1. Calcaterra had 1. Smith had -2 yards on a catch.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, the the passing game was still really clunky yesterday. And you really just whipped them up because you blasted them in the run game.
That brings up where Hurts missed Barkley on that wheel route towards the end zone in the red zone. That is something I recall from yesterday. That's kind of needs a little.
Yeah, that was a miss for sure. Terry and Galloway.
He had 2. By the way, real quick, Hurts definitely had like 2 misses. They outlined the one. Mark Sanchez, who, by the way, Sanchez's hairdo yesterday is poor.
Not a fan.
You can't go man bun during the broadcast.
I don't even think he has enough hair to make that man bun look good.
Mark Sanchez, although he pointed out in the play that, hey, he had, I think it was Devontae Smith open on a 3rd and 2. He had him open.
On the crossing route,
crossing route. But he didn't miss all that much yesterday. There just wasn't a lot there. They only threw the ball 14 times. All right, what else you got?
Terry and Galloway says a thorough beating is impressive of an NFL opponent regardless of who it was. When you blitz and run the ball, that's how you blow people out. That's Terry and Galloway.
Well, the blitz and running the ball part, I mean, that's the old school mentality in Terry there. They didn't blitz all that much. They blitzed like 2 or 3 times yesterday. Let's ease that a little bit. But, yeah, the running part of it is the thing that – and I asked the question, like, where are you without Saquon Barkley? Like, where is this team? Although Gainwell had a pretty damn good game on the ground, too. I mean, they could have handed it to Gainwell, and he would have had a big game, it felt like. But they simplified the game yesterday. It was almost like the coaches, like, you're like, you know what? We're overthinking. But what did I say all last week? Who's the star of this team? The offensive line.
Yep.
And it was almost like they listened to me and said, you know what? The star of this team is the offensive line. Let's just let them blow this team off the ball. They can't stop the run. Let's let them get the game ball. Now, they could have gave the game ball to the offensive line. They ended up giving it to Barkley because he played there. But guess what? If Barkley doesn't play for the Giants, you probably say the offensive line gets the game ball for the amount of space that the running backs had to run in that game yesterday. It was an overall solid performance, but has it swayed the voters out there? If you were a undecided voter, And that was your political ad, the Eagles against the Giants yesterday.
That's a good question.
Did it sway you
It's very
to vote
apropos,
either
yes.
way, that you believe or you need to see more? Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. Live video streaming on the X platform and YouTube at Mike Gill Show. Subscribe there. We're live at the Fanatics Sportsbook when we come back. Mike McGarry of the Press of Atlantic City. You know, the Giant fans are getting criticized. They were burning Barkley
gotta stop
jerseys.
burning the jerseys, man. You got to stop doing that.
You didn't see
These
burning
are
jerseys at
grown-
WVU?
Burning couches.
Oh, we had the jerseys.
But these are grown adults, man. You can't be just burning jerseys like that. God.
Well, we'll see if they went too far. Did they go too far? And now, you know, McGarry, he's a Giant fan. He likes the New York sports teams.
Just get rid of the jersey. Give it away. Give it to Goodwill, right?
Did that performance, the dominating performance against his Giants, make him a believer that the Eagles' trajectory is back in the upward path? We'll get that conversation coming up next here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. with Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and Michelle Small.
Can't wake up without it.
Brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
Prices are tumbling down during the Fall Into Savings event at Boardwalk Honda. Get fantastic fall pricing on our entire lineup of new Hondas. Right now, lease a new 2024 Honda Prologue for only $189 a month. Or lease a new 2025 Honda CR-V LX for just $269 a month. Both for 36 months. And remember, from Maine to Miami, nobody beats a Boardwalk deal. Visit HondaBoardwalk.com for low lease payments. Toll free at 484-246-6754 for more details.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Hey guys, are you afraid of taking off your shirt in public? Don't be embarrassed. Just say, I love Lyle back instead. With male breast reduction, many men develop a fullness in their chest as boys that persists and even worsens as they get older. This condition is called gynecomastia, and with simple liposuction, most cases can be effectively treated. Call 856-MAKEOVER today to schedule your time with Dr. Lyle M. Back. That's 856-MAKEOVER. Or visit ilovelyle.back.com.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for details.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing kit. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
Broadlee's is your trusted source for plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, and your go-to Mitsubishi Electric Elite Diamond contractor in South Jersey. Say goodbye to fossil fuel burning systems and switch to a qualified all-electric, all-climate heat pump from Mitsubishi Electric with 0% financing for 84 months. Plus, if you make the switch before year-end, qualify for up to $2,000 back in federal tax credits. Call Broadlee's today for a free quote at 609-390-3907 or visit broadlees.net.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatic Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
That was crazy. That was crazy. I mean, I've seen my jersey get burned before over on social media, but the timing of it, like I'm locked in. I'm listening to my music. And I see like the fans, and all I see is fans just pointing. And I look, I'm like, what are they pointing at? And I see smoke, and I'm just like, my jersey getting burned. So yeah, that was definitely different. I don't know if I ever experienced anything like that in my life, and hopefully I don't experience that again. But in that moment, I was ready for 3rd and 1. Let's just say that.
Saquon Barkley's reaction to seeing his jersey being burned in the parking lot. Well, he had a historic, almost historic day. He could have probably poured it on his former Giant teammate, but they took the high road as the Eagles win 28-3. Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City, pressofac.com. His Giants lost. His Mets got eliminated. It was a rough weekend in the McGarry household over there. Michael, what's going on, buddy? 80-degree day. It makes you feel like summer, but the fall is unraveling here. You heard Saquon Barkley there. I want to get your thought. Did you think that the fans were going to be as tough on him as they ended up being? I mean, jerseys on fire. I mean, it was like a college basketball game when the star player gets the ball and they're booing him every single time he touches it. Were you surprised at the reaction from the Giant fans yesterday? Yeah, I mean, I was asking that question beforehand. Where are the Eagles without Saquon Barkley? I mean, he obviously had a huge day yesterday, but 28-3. You don't see a lot of dominating games in the NFL. Everything's a one-score game. Everything's close, one possession. Last week the Giants, they lose 17-7. They're in that game. What did that say yesterday? Did that change the narrative for you, Mike, at all about Philadelphia? Kind of a tumultuous week for the coach. They win a game last week, but not impressive enough. Their offense hasn't been all that impressive. 28-3. Does that say, hey, this team has turned the corner, or do you still have more questions? All right, I think there's something to that. I want to get your take on what these numbers mean. I'm a little surprised myself when I hear these. With Nick Sirianni as the head coach, Mike, Philadelphia has the second best road winning percentage in the entire league. They win 70% of their road games since he has been the coach. They are 20-9. It's hard to win on the road. So is all the stuff about the coach overstated? I mean, does he do a much better job than maybe the people give him credit for? Yeah, that's that's the interesting part about this. Last week you beat the Browns and nobody was really impressed because it was the Browns. But they did what they were supposed to do. I mean, in the NFL to beat a team 28-3 and we're saying, well, you only beat the Giants. It is hard, but I do seem to agree with you that you're going to have to do more than beat the Giants to kind of say you've turned the corner after the way last season ended, and even this year at 4-2. So at 4-2, what does this team feel like? Saquon Barkley with the big day yesterday, obviously. Only 14 passes for Jalen Hurts on the offensive side of the ball. On the defense, they got 8 sacks. They only gave up 111 yards. Is Vic Fangio's unit turning the corner, or are the Giants that inept? Oh, you're right about that. You're right about that, Mike. If Right, everything in the NFL, like you start taking steps towards something. The weird part about this team is they're 10-1, then they fell apart, and then this year they really haven't had. I mean, that win on opening night in Brazil gets tainted by the fact that they lost A.J. Brown, then they didn't play with Brown and Smith. They've had some injuries. So this is a tough team to try to figure out right now. But when you look at the landscape, they're 4-2. They're a drop pass away from being 5-1, and I don't know where that puts them in the pantheon of the NFC right now. Where do you put them in the pantheon of the NFC? Yeah, I don't know what I say the same thing. Like, where are we on Washington right now? I mean, they were on yesterday against Carolina. I mean, Carolina's dreadful, but Washington, I mean, even without Daniels, really puts a beating on them. I'm not sure where we put Washington in the pantheon yet. Minnesota, Detroit. I know Detroit we all seem to like. I got them at the top. Minnesota, I think, needed to sell some people. Did that game, even in a loss, sell you on them? San Francisco seemingly has, dropped off a bit. So the NFC is a weird, mishmash of teams that really no one other than Detroit are you believing in yet. All right, Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City, pressofac.com. Of course, we have the Eagles and the Bengals this weekend. We just told you the Eagles got demoted for a second week. The Jacksonville game has been moved from the Sunday night game next weekend to a Sunday 4:05 game. Looks like you're going to get, a Chris Myers and Mark Sanchez on the call on that one. You go from Sunday Night Football to this third, 4 o'clock game. That's a big demotion there. But, all right, we'll see this kind of move on. I do want to get some thoughts real quick. The Giants, they kind of run out of – the Mets, they kind of run out of gas there. And now, whose offseason are you more intrigued to see what's next? What the Mets need to do or what Philadelphia needs to do? All right, Mike McGarry for the Press of Atlantic City, pressofac.com here on the Sports Bash. The Eagles beat the Giants 28-3. It was one of the more convincing wins that you'll see on an NFL schedule. And, of course, we'll have the Eagles and Bengals next Sunday. That game, remember, is a 1 o'clock game. They moved that to 1 o'clock. It was a 4, and they moved it to 1. So that's right here on 97.3 ESPN. All right, Mike, we'll catch up with you Wednesday, man. The Sixers opener, by the way. Yeah, Sixers open Wednesday night right here on 97.3 ESPN. The Sixers and the Bucks. Tomorrow night at 6, we've got the Flyers and the Capitals. Flyers look a little lifeless in the home opener on Saturday. And, of course...
And tomorrow night is the NBA season opener.
Yeah, tomorrow night, Knicks Celtics.
Oh, my God, little New York ball. And then we got Lakers, T-Wolves, I believe. Right?
That's the late game, yep. So you got the NBA back tomorrow night. All 4 sports have converged. All of them. You got the World Series starting Friday, the Yankees and the Dodgers,
and it's
the
still
NHL.
Still 80 degrees
and
outside.
It's 80 degrees outside, right?
Doesn't make any sense.
All right, coming up next hour, Grayson's grades. Scott Grayson grades the Eagles win. Was Professor Grayson impressed by the win? I'll tell you what you'll be impressed with. The Nizam's Indian Restaurant, Route 40 in Egg Harbor Township. They're ready to serve you delicious Indian dishes. And for the second week in a row, their Eagles football special. Free tandoori spicy chicken wings because the Eagles won. It's for dine-in customers only. So if you're driving around and you say, you know what? The Eagles won. Let's go get those spicy chicken tandoori spicy chicken wings. You can get them at the Nizam's right out there in front of Boscov's in Egg Harbor Township. They're open 7 days a week from 11:30 to 9:30 with their special lunch buffet weekends from 11:30 to 3. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash. We're live at the Fanatics Sportsbook at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season this Sunday in Cincinnati against the Bengals.
Let it go, and it is caught into the touchdown. A.J. Brown. When there's a question, go to A.J. Brown.
Listen to all the action with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick with pregame coverage starting at noon and kickoff at 1 p.m. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Find the finest fall offers at BMW of Atlantic City. Right now, lease a new 2024 BMW i4 eDrive 40 for $499 a month with $5,679 due at signing. Or lease a new 2025 BMW iX xDrive 50 for $699 a month with $6,419 due at signing, both for 36 months at BMW of Atlantic City. Closer than you think. Located in Egg Harbor Township. Online at bmwatlanticcity.com. Offers expire October 31st. For more details, call 609-316-2393.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your business needs a network it can count on. Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Keep your business connected with Comcast Business Internet and Wi-Fi backup, or get started with reliable internet for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online today. Ends 11/17/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
With GMF financing, the qualified buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette excludes prior sales.
Need a car, truck, or SUV? Great! Get to Bennett Chevy, where you're gonna get Bennett's best offers ever. You know Bennett sells new Chevys at the true GM supplier employee price, right? Well, right now, Bennett Chevrolet says, how'd you like to buy your new Chevy and pay $500 below the GM supplier employee price? Yes, $500 less than our employees. Plus, you keep all the rebates. That's up to 15% off the sticker. And with available 0% financing, you'll have incredibly low payments. And if you've got an old car to trade, right now you'll get a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Imagine how much we'll pay for good trades. And wait till you experience Bennett's non-commissioned sales team. Paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. So they'll make getting all these unbelievable deals even better. Together, let's drive. Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, live video on the X platform, YouTube at Mike Gill Show. I'm Mike Gill. Josh, what's the text board saying?
Yeah, 609-403-0973. Stephen Ventnor chimes in, Mike, and says, The Eagles won a division game against a team that was trending upward before some injuries. I think it helps the players gain some confidence. They have some swagger now, and they can go into looking at the NFC is down this year. That's from Steven Ventnor.
That's a good point, Steve. The NFC is down, so I think it's hard because you expect like this greatness when you want to believe in a team. I don't know that there's a team that has the greatness in it other than Detroit. I think Detroit's very good. Now, losing Hutchinson, though, I think changes the dynamics of them in a playoff one-week series unless they make a trade and get Crosby or something like that. They're not going to get Hassan Reddick now. He's going back to the Jets.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, that's a wild story there. The Jets looked awful last night. So the landscape of the NFC is cloudy because you got teams like the Ravens, the Buccaneers and the Falcons, that you didn't really have high hopes for at the beginning of the year. Now they look like they're teams that you can kind of look. What about the Bears? The Bears are a team that you don't even talk about, but hey, listen, I've been tough on Caleb Williams, but if he starts playing even better and better and better, and that team's got some weapons, I said, if he's as good as advertised, they got some weapons, and their defense is pretty good. That whole division is
Everyone
very
has
interesting.
4 wins.
Yep.
4 wins or more.
Green Bay, they won 2 games without Jordan Love, and then I thought they were maybe the story of the weekend with their win yesterday. So we got a lot to get into on that. But when we come back, Scott Grayson has Grayson's Grades next on the Sports Bash.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedorn bring you all the exciting play-by-play action. It's Flyers Cap tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey. 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
With GM financing, the qualified buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette excludes prior sales.
Need a car, truck, or SUV? Great! Get to Bennett Chevy, where you're going to get Bennett's best offers ever. You know Bennett sells new Chevys at the true GM supplier employee price, right? Well, right now, Bennett Chevrolet says, how'd you like to buy your new Chevy and pay $500 below the GM supplier employee price? Yes, $500 less than our employees. Plus, you keep all the rebates. That's up to 15% off the sticker. And with available 0% financing, you'll have incredibly low payments. And if you've got an old car to trade, right now you'll get a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Imagine how much we'll pay for good trades. And wait till you experience Bennett's non-commissioned sales team. Paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. So they'll make getting all these unbelievable deals even better. Together, let's drive Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, it's Mike Gill. The Nizam's Indian Restaurant on Route 40 in Egg Harbor Township is ready to serve you delicious Indian dishes. NJ.com ranked them as the #2 best restaurant in all of New Jersey. And this just in. It's their Eagles football special. Your table receives free tandoori, spicy chicken wings if the Eagles win for dine-in customers only. Join them for a special lunch buffet, Fridays through Sundays from 11:30 to 3 p.m. Visit thenizams.com for more information.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
It's the time of year for killer deals. You've had your eye on some hot new wheels. We want to pay off your loan or lease and tell your old car to rust in peace.
Get to Matt Black Kia today. Buried in a loan or lease? Matt Black Kia wants to get you released and treat yourself to £0, 0 payments until next year, even 0% up to 72 months on ad-free, clearly marked new Matt Black Kia in stock. You won't need a costume to get a brand new Matt Black Kia Forte LXS under 20 grand. That's right, a brand new Kia, just $19,999 with any trade. That's less than most used vehicles.
It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
With approved credit 24 EV9 and 6, $13.88 per thousand. Not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can be combined. Visit Matt Black Kia NJ.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. License includes all costs to be paid by consumer except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Through KMF. Rebates and incentives to deal. Expires 10/31/24. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card, good for use, at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com.
See the deal. Home of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN.
Ooh, that's good.
WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Mike Gill.
Remember, when Philly wins, and when they went to the Super Bowl, it was run the football. Boom, Jalen Hurts completed 10 passes on the day. 10. They ran the football over 200 yards. The defense had 8 sacks. Jalen Hurts ran the football. This is the formula.
Yes.
Why they don't do it more often, I have no idea. They don't have to be this passing team throwing the football up and down the field. Be physical. Lean behind the offensive line.
Booger McFarland on prime time last night. Sounds like Booger took a page from the Sports Bash. Use your offensive line as your star, and it will lead you to lopsided victories. That's what happened yesterday as the Eagles used the offensive line and a huge game from Saquon Barkley, Kenny Gainwell, and they run wild on the Giants. It's time for Grayson's Grades. The grades are brought to you by GMS Law. Make the right call with 4 convenient locations to serve you. Online at gmslaw.com. We're live at the Fanatics Sportsbook at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. And right now, it's the 3 o'clock hour brought to you by Broadlee's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, your trusted source for heating and plumbing service. Installation for generations. Call them at 609-390-3907. Online at broadleys.net. Scott Grayson from Fox 29. Grayson's Grades posted after every Eagles game. And we'll get his grades in just a second. But, you know, what he said there, what Booger McFarland said right there, you know, that's the thing. He said when they were going to the Super Bowl, they were running the football. We forget Miles Sanders that year had like 1,200 yards rushing. He had double-digit touchdowns. He was a huge part of their offense. You know, yes, they had A.J. Brown, who was awesome that year, like 1,500 yards. You can have a big-time playmaking receiver in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You have those two weapons, but that doesn't mean that they have to be the entire focus of the offense. You know, how many teams we've seen in the past, the Minnesota Vikings, for example, Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in football. They don't win anything. They're starting to win now. Why? They have a better offensive line, and they're using it. They're using that offensive line. You see so many top-tier receivers come up short. So many top-tier receivers that don't have rings. So many top-tier receivers that, wow, why are we trading Devontae Adams? Well, we can't win with him. Vegas Raiders. We have so many top-tier receivers that keep getting traded. Amari Cooper, how many teams has he been on? How many wins does he have? How many of the teams that Amari Cooper's been on have been any good? None. Right? Cleveland, Dallas, Oakland. This might be the best team he's going to. This Bills team, what did they do? They got rid of Stephon Diggs because they said, we cannot keep this guy here. We got to start to get a little bit better offensive line. use our run game with James Cook. They started to build the offense around Cook a little bit more. And you saw what the Eagles were able to do yesterday, and they went behind the offensive line and Saquon Barkley. And now we're talking about a 28-3 win, and Grayson's grades are here with this week's edition of the grades on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. Well, the grades are always interesting, a win, a loss. But Saquon Barkley, he was an A. It's easy to see why, but really, this is everything. They committed to it yesterday, Scott Grayson. That is where I'm looking for the grade of the offensive play caller or coordinator here. Kellen Moore, you gave a B. Nick Sirianni an A. They committed to running the football yesterday.
Yeah, they did. And the reason I gave Kellen Moore a B was because there's still a first quarter drought. And, you play a good team, and going scoreless through the first quarter could end up being a difference in the game. This team's got to find a way to start putting points. Even a field goal at this point would be better than what they're doing. So, yes, but you're right. They committed to the run. They committed to Saquon. Now, you can ask yourself, why did they do that? Was it because Jordan Mailata wasn't there? It might be it's easier for, offensive linemen will tell you it's easier to run block. And so, with Fred Johnson out there replacing Mailata, was it a little easier to get him under control to just get his feet wet and get going with some running? I think it was Saquon back in New York, let the guy go do his thing. And he did. And it's what I've been looking for, which is to establish the tone with the run. And I said this yesterday. I think that what they found was the formula for success, which is establish and set the tone with the run. Let the passing game feed off of that, and Jalen can find some lanes every now and then to run. And then, your defense obviously played great yesterday. Played great. And so that's your formula right now. All you need to do is just come out with a little more energy in the first quarter and find a way to get it going earlier than they did. And you'd find me giving everybody A's. It was a dominating win. And but yeah, to me, that's the formula, Mike. Just get Saquon going. Why wouldn't you? I just don't. Other than if you're trying to look like you're the smartest guy in the room, and I know I'm going to run the ball, so I'm going to pass it just to fool you. Why? If you can run the ball as well as they did yesterday, why don't you?
Well, and listen, I'll ask you this question. Where would this Eagles team be without Saquon Barkley? Like, who are they? And I think you start to wonder, what are we without Barkley? And now if you answer that question, I think you are almost starting to find your identity by answering that question.
Yeah, I'm glad you went there, because we've said here in this segment, what is their identity? And it's been like scratching your head trying to figure it out. I think you're right. I think they're finding their identity is starting with Saquon and evolving from there. And I like that. And you're right. Where would they be without Saquon? You look and compare to what they were doing last year with DeAndre Swift. I see Saquon's patience in the hole. I see his cuts in the hole. They're another level than what you were seeing from DeAndre. And that's not to knock DeAndre Swift. That's just Saquon's that good. I think we're seeing he's that good. That he will take the hole you give him and he will do a lot with it. And even when the other team knows it may be coming. And you know what? Here's where Kellen Moore deserves some credit too. He got dropped for a loss one time yesterday. I think he was stopped for no gain or a yard here. He is the guy you've got to feed, because eventually he will break one. He broke 3 of 38 or longer yesterday. And so the commitment to it, the desire to keep going to him and let him do it. And look, when he came out, because they committed to it as well as he did, Kenny Gainwell even found some holes and got going. Why wouldn't you? It just makes it easier on Jalen. You're not asking Jalen to try to do too much. And look, in this process, suddenly there's not the turnovers come in the last 2 games.
Yeah, Scott, one of the other things you mentioned, Gainwell being a big part of it. How about Ben Van Sumeren, the little fullback action? They had under the center, offset eye, and there were 2 runs at least yesterday where Van Sumeren just had a kick-out block. And you talked about Barkley. All he needs is a little crease, and he used a little bit of a block from Van Sumeren for that 41-yard run. That one was a big one there. He had a big block on a Gainwell run there. I felt like they committed to the run, and I'm hoping, I said all last week, the star of this team is their offensive line. That's who the star. Yeah, Brown and Smith and Barkley, can be stars on any individual day, but if they commit to their star being the offensive line, those other guys are going to be able to have monster performances. Because here's the problem. You don't know who to pick to be the star. So just pick the offensive line and say, you know what, you're the star, and we'll bounce off of that and find out who will be the star on that given day in terms of the skill player.
Yeah, I like that. I agree with that. I think that's a good way to do it because you're going to need those guys every game. You're going to need those guys to be blocking and protecting Jalen as well as opening up the holes for the other guys. And so yeah, and with Van Summer, not only Van Summerin in there, right, but the Wildcat they ran the one time, which I think there's potentially going to be some things to do off of that. And it was the first time they ran it, so it didn't go well. But I'll tell you what, I kind of like it. I kind of like some of the wrinkles they threw in yesterday that are going to make teams down the line. And that's what it was. It was for the chess game down the road to make them kind of think and have to react and play and think about, okay, well, if Van Summerin's in there, here's what we've got to do. If Saquon's a Wildcat, here's what we've got to try to do. I think there's some things to do off of that I'm gonna enjoy seeing some more of. Saquon called Kellen Moore a wizard yesterday. I don't know that we've seen the wizard yet, but I think maybe we're starting to see the wizard. I'm looking forward to seeing what this wizard does with this offense down the road.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought Kellen Moore up, and obviously Nick. They both kind of embattled last week, Nick more than Kellen. I guess they're almost by proxy put together. But the stat that if you're watching the live video, for the people who are watching the video, Sirianni, second best road winning percentage in the entire league since he has been the head coach. They're 20-9. They win almost 70%. We know how hard it is to win a road game in the NFL. So all going back to last week, and, obviously Nick, I think, wishes that did not happen. And, but do we undervalue his role on this team?
I don't know. It's easy to throw knives at him when he gives you a reason to. And he's the head coach. He's going to have to take some of that. And I think last week he did get, I thought we talked about it. I thought he deserved some of the criticism that he got for his behavior. I think he dealt with it throughout the week. I think, honestly, the team sort of rallied around him a little bit as a byproduct of it. They said they had their best practices this week. And they also, look, Nick threw a fully padded practice in there in the middle of the week. That doesn't happen very often during the season. And so these guys, they worked on things. And I think they were more focused. They had their best week of practice. I think part of that was because they rallied around Nick. And that's where I give Nick credit in that he got through the week. He absorbed it all. He didn't deflect it to any of his players. He didn't criticize them for not making plays. He took it. He answered the questions. I think the guys respected that. And I think what we saw was maybe this team as a byproduct of it, come a little closer together around their head coach. Even you heard Jalen start talking a little bit more in support of Nick, which we haven't heard, a lot over the last few weeks or years. So I think there's a lot of positives that came out of that with those two guys, with him especially. And as you go forward, I think it's something worth interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch and how Nick continues to, handle himself. I thought he was under control yesterday. Did not get crazy on the sidelines, even though he could have to Giants fans, I'm sure. But you're right. He's had a lot of success on the road. And I think a lot of that is because his team has just won a lot of games in general while he's been here. And is that a coincidence? You got to give the guy credit. He's found ways to win here. And even last year they were 10-1 and we were all going, how are they 10-1? But he found ways to win with that team. And it might not have always been pretty. And I'm not sitting here trying to sing his praises. I'm just saying facts are he wins. It may not be as well or as convincing as we would like most of the time, but they did yesterday and they did it well.
Scott Grayson's grades are posted at 973ESPN.com after every Eagles game. The one thing we'll transition over to Vic Fangio. He got an A. Jalen Carter got an A. They had 8 sacks. They gave up under 120 yards.
Yeah.
Explain in your mind, is that a byproduct of one or two things? I'm trying, and we've had a ton of text messages we haven't been able to get to yet and kind of read off, but is this a byproduct of Fangio getting more familiar with his personnel, being more comfortable with what he has, knowing how to use these guys, their strengths and weaknesses more, or a byproduct of the Giants being that poor offensively?
It's a great question because I sat there watching the game yesterday and at the end was going, wow, that's 13 sacks in 2 weeks. So what's going on? And I asked myself that. And I
Right.
think
Like, am
there's
I supposed to buy that they have fixed their pass rush?
I think to a certain extent, guys aren't thinking as much and they're starting to react more because they're getting more comfortable in this Vic Fangio defense. He's getting more comfortable with them and more familiar with them. I think it's a little bit of that. I also, Mike, yesterday was asking myself, did the New York Giants skip over the Tampa Bay film? Did they not see what happened when Baker Mayfield got the ball out of his hands at the back of his drop every time? And to me, I just in this copycat league, until the Eagles stop it, if I have the Eagles next, like if I'm the Bengals right now, I'm going, hey, we're getting the ball out of Burrow's hands just like this every play, every time. We're not going to hold it. Why hold it? Look what happens when they hold it. Daniel Jones found out. I don't know why the Giants weren't doing quick passes because to me, I just think, the Eagles were kind of exposed in that regard until they can start, stopping it. And the Giants were doing long drops. Daniel Jones was, kind of getting back there and then looking around. There were times that, to be fair, the Eagles players, just blew up the offensive line. Jalen Carter to an extent, and it was a bunch of guys. I think that's what's encouraging to see, Mike, is it was like a revolving door of different guys getting home. And
well, here you go. Here's a list of the guys that had it. I mean, Nakobe Dean, Jalen Carter, Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith. That was in the first half. Dean had 2 sacks. Sweat, has sacks in back-to-back weeks. Bryce Huff had his name called. I think that's a first. I mean, 5 players sacked Daniel Jones in the first half. So I don't know if I'm some mysterious. I agree with you. The Giants are so inept, and you're thinking, how do these teams watch what the Eagles did against Tampa and not try to emulate that to some extent?
Yeah, to me, it's baffling because the Eagles looked abominable in that Tampa game. They could not cover guys close enough. Now, I did see a little bit yesterday of some attempted bump and runs with Slay on some of the receivers. So, I'd have to go back and look at the all 22 just to see if they were playing a little tighter to the receivers and kind of took that away. But we've talked about it, right? Let the offense build a lead and then make the opponent a little more one-dimensional. That happened too, and you have to give the offense credit for some of the defense's success. Now, it didn't happen in the first quarter. And at the end of the first half, the Eagles were up 14-3, I believe. So it wasn't even until the second half that they got far enough ahead that they made the Giants very predictable. But look, I think you've seen a lot of positive signs out of this defense. Throw away the Tampa game. But the Saints game, right? They were really good there. The Browns game. And I know it's the Browns, it's the Giants. The Saints have been somewhat exposed lately. But I think you've got to look and say, look, there's starting to be some things down on paper here that are showing you this defense can be pretty good. And it's, they just, in my opinion, Quinyon Mitchell, I know he's on defense for a reason, but catch one of these. And they can get a turnover here or there. It would really change the way this game is played for the Eagles if they can start winning the turnover battle and not just, avoiding losing it because they're tied. But I need to see this defense start getting some takeaways.
What, Blankenship got one yesterday?
Did he?
I think so, right?
That was called back, I think.
No. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It was. He got called back on a penalty.
And there was a forced fumble off of Drew Lock. Jalix Hunt forced that, but the Eagles didn't recover. So, it's just not bouncing their way right now, and it will at some point, but they've got to get some of these.
Yeah, well, Dean, I'll tell you, the one thing, he used Dean differently. He blitzed Dean a couple of times, kind of disguised, delayed his blitz there. I think having Cooper DeJean out there, I think he's going to be a weapon. The more that Fangio feels more comfortable with him, he can use him all over the place and use him in different ways. I think Quinyon Mitchell, you talked about get a pick, but what he does really well is
his coverage is good.
His coverage is outstanding. So now you have kind of that guy. The one thing I'm not sure that I'm buying yet, I don't know where this pass rush is coming from. I don't know if it's just a byproduct of Cleveland's line's awful. The Giants' line's pretty bad because you get 8 sacks and 5 the week before, 13 in 2 weeks. You got to be feeling, okay, that's not a fluke, but I got to see it against some higher quality competition.
Yeah, and I think next week we will look. I know Cincinnati didn't get out to a great start, but they've been winning lately. They seem to be starting to find themselves a little better, sort of like the Eagles have. I think this is going to be a good test against a good quarterback. And I look forward to seeing what maybe steps the Eagles could continue to take, hopefully forward as a defense here. But I agree with you. I'm not convinced the pass rush is, quote, fixed. But I do like what I'm seeing more and more out of the coverage guys, the safeties. I just need, I need CJ Gardner-Johnson not to fight Quinyon Mitchell for a pick like he did last week. Let somebody, look, you're on the same team. Somebody get it. But I think there's a lot of things on that defense to feel positive about. And again, the fact that it's a bunch of guys getting the sacks, it's not just one. That tells me that it's more a byproduct of the scheme and not a guy who happens to be winning his battle.
Well, that's a good point. And, the way, because for Dean to be in there, the way Dean's getting these sacks, you see him, he's kind of finding a little gap and kind of, timing that blitz there, but you're right. They're kind of stunning a little bit. They're doing some things up front. I thought it was interesting. Jordan Davis only played like 21% of the snaps yesterday. The Giants don't run the ball a lick, so he was not out there nearly as much. So maybe you got a little bit more pass rush because of that. But it's definitely a positive to see Sweat, Hunt get one. Not Hunt. Huff get one. And if Huff can get himself going, look, I know I've kind of been somebody who's written him off. I didn't like the signing to begin with. But if they can get something from him, I'm not asking him to get double-digit sacks at this stage, but can he get 8? Can he be a guy that just pressures the quarterback? How much different this defense could be? Because they do have playmakers on the back end.
Well, and I think you need to see Jalen Carter be the guy he was. I mean, the last 2 weeks, Jalen Carter has been a pain for the opponent, and that's what you need to see him do, kind of like Fletcher Cox used to be, right? He would take up double teams. He would have to fight through them and still manage to get in there and blow up a pocket. And Jalen yesterday, I mean, Daniel Jones didn't keep his eyes downfield long because that pocket was getting collapsed somewhere. And sometimes it was Jalen, and he would force him out. He would hold on to the ball because he would try to find somebody, and then he'd get taken down. So I really like what I'm seeing out of Jalen Carter. And, we saw it early in the season last year, and then it kind of tailed off. So the question is he going to be able to sustain that more as we go through the season?
Scott Grayson's grades are posted after every Eagles game at 97.3ESPN.com. You can check out the full grades right there, right now. And, of course, the Eagles getting ready for the Cincinnati Bengals. That game has been moved to 1 o'clock, by the way. The news just came down. The Eagles' Sunday night game against Jacksonville, that now has been moved to a 4 o'clock game. They didn't want to see Dougie P back in Philadelphia. I thought that story wrote itself for the networks. They were going with the Colts and the Vikings, man.
Yeah.
And I'm a little surprised. Even though I know Jacksonville is not where you had hoped, I thought the Peterson going back to Philly was enough to kind of the Colts in Minnesota, that game doesn't do much for me on the Sunday night, but that was announced earlier today as well. Grace's Grades are brought to you by GMS Law. Make the right call with 4 convenient locations to serve you online at gmslaw.com. All right, Scott, good job, buddy.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Mike. Take care.
All right, Scott Grayson's Grades, of course, after every Eagles game at 97.3ESPN.com. This hour of the show is brought to you by Broadlee's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, your trusted source for heating, plumbing, service, and installation for generations. Call 609-390-3907, online at broadlees.net. When we come back, it is Nick Sirianni's day after press conference. You'll hear what Nick is talking about this week. What were some of the key takeaways from that Eagle win for his staff? We'll hear that coming up on the other side. Plus, today at 4, it's Football at 4 with Jeff Mosher. Where does he think this Eagles team would be without Saquon Barkley? We'll get his thoughts on that. And do we start to believe that this defense is a legit defense? All that and more on your home for Eagles football, 97.3 ESPN.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Never thought this radio stunt would catch on so big.
On 97.3 ESPN.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card, good for use, at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com.
Seize the deal.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Jose stands tall atop his sustainable flooring company.
Totally. It's renewable and moisture resistant, but we have several green options too. Or we got some beautiful reclaimed oak.
But floored by his success, he needs to hire more installers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Dan Tracy. I'm a workers' compensation attorney. At Goldenberg Mackler, we've handled thousands of workers' compensation claims over the years. Our experienced attorneys understand the law and will fight to get you the benefits that you deserve. When injured at work, make the right call to Goldenberg Mackler. Call us at 609-344-7131. That's 609-344-7131. Or visit us online at gmslaw.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? 'Cause I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
The time for holiday hosting is upon us, so make your second bathroom second to none with HomeDepot.com's best savings of the season. Right now, enjoy up to 40% off select online bath. Find the latest on-trend styles of vanities, faucets, showers, tubs, toilets, and more. All at prices that will let your budget relax right along with you and your beautifully renovated bath. Get up to 40% off select online bath plus free delivery at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see HomeDepot.com/delivery for details.
With GMF financing to qualified buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette excludes prior sales.
Need a car, truck, or SUV? Great! Get to Bennett Chevy, where you're gonna get Bennett's best offers ever. You know Bennett sells new Chevys at the true GM supplier employee price, right? Well, right now, Bennett Chevrolet says, how'd you like to buy your new Chevy and pay $500 below the GM supplier employee price? Yes, $500 less than our employees. Plus, you keep all the rebates. That's up to 15% off the sticker. And with available 0% financing, you'll have incredibly low payments. And if you've got an old car to trade, right now you'll get a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least 10 grand for total junk. Imagine how much we'll pay for good trades. And wait till you experience Bennett's non-commissioned sales team. Paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend, so they'll make getting all these unbelievable deals even better. Together, let's drive. Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
And it just keeps getting better.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, streaming live video on the X platform and YouTube at Mike Gill Show. Who Gets the Credit is sponsored by Jersey Shore Federal Credit Union. Make the switch and bank with your only community credit union. Jersey Shore Federal Credit Union offers some of the lowest loan rates around, including refinancing. Learn more at JerseyShoreFCU.org. Well, who are we giving the credit to? I don't know. You going Saquon Barkley? Or are you just going with the entire defensive effort? You keep a team under 200 total yards and get 8 sacks on the day. You giving the credit to Vic Fangio, or are you going Saquon Barkley? Well, under the circumstances with the game, I think that the defense was unbelievable, but you're playing an inept Giants team, so I'm going to go Barkley for the game he had against his former team. And we asked the question a lot, and we're going to talk more about it later. What is this Eagles offense without Saquon Barkley? Well, let's see what Coach Nick Sirianni has to say. It's Nick Sirianni's day after press conference right here on the Sports Bash.
Hey, you guys have 10 plays, scrimmage plays of 40 yards or more, which is more than any other, well more than any other team. And they've come in different ways, short passes that have gone for big plays, deep balls, runs. I wanted to ask kind of what those plays mean to the offense and to have that at your disposal to be able to hit those fairly regularly.
Yeah, you know, we talk a lot about explosive plays, and you know our definition of explosive plays is 40s majorly explosive. So our definition with explosive plays is like, hey, you get explosive plays. It creates points, right? And vice versa on defense. And like I said, I was going here. The definition of our explosive plays are 20, give or take. I won't get into all our specifics there, but give or take around there. So to create one that's double that, even puts your chances of scoring up even more. So constantly want to be able to create those. We have the players to be able to create those. The guys have done a good job of hitting on, Jalen yesterday. I don't know how, I think the one to AJ was probably like 43 yesterday. But what a great throw by Jalen. What a great route by AJ. Had a couple by Saquon yesterday. So again, when you're able to hit those and be explosive, it gives you a better chance to score points.
Hey, Nick, piggybacking off that a little bit, you guys have 0 turnover-worthy plays the last 2 weeks, but you do still have some big plays down the field. How do you go about coaching a player to make sure they're cautious with the ball and they're thinking about it while not like suppressing their ability to take some chances and make big plays? Yeah, that just takes, you try to think through all those different things and, as far as how you carry the ball, because I think you're talking about 2 different things as far as that. Like, I think there's the part of it where it's the quarterback, because the quarterback's got a very specific job there, and then the ball carrier on top of that. So like the ball carrier, you just harp on the way the ball is carried, and there's a lot of elements to that. Whether you're going through the line of scrimmage, whether you just caught the ball and you're tucking it, whether you're on the sideline, whether you're in traffic. Whether you're making a move, all those different things, you just try to reenact those things and put them in those positions as often as you possibly can. And that's what you're trying to do in practice, simulate the game as much as you possibly can. And so that's what we try to do there, and we talk about it a lot. I think what you're talking probably more about, Elliot, is really it applies to Jalen, is hey, you got to be able to take care of the football while still being explosive. And that's why the quarterback is who he is, how important he is to the football team, because it takes, hey, we got to be able to take receivers that are open downfield while also not wanting to force it. And I think that's just the repetitions of the different plays that the plays that he sees versus all the different looks that he can get. And so you want to take what they give you. Sometimes that's more risk than other times. But I think that's just playing the quarterback position, is constantly taking what they give you. Do they open the things up down the field? And then, but as far as the next part goes, is how you're protecting the ball when you're carrying it. Because I think that's just different, is how you have the ball and you're taking care of it when you're carrying it, and how you have to go through reads and stuff like that. I think that's what you're talking about.
Thank you. We'll go to Brooks and then Dave.
Hey, Nick. In this game, you guys almost doubled the amount of under center snaps that you had and ran on all but one, and were effective there, about 6 yards per carry. Why was that to work in this specific game plan? Or are there things, B, that were revealed that you feel might help the offense going forward?
Yeah, again, every game plan requires different action. Based off the defense that you're playing, you still want to stay true to who you are and with the things that you do well and the things that are part of your offense and things that mesh with your offense well. But then every game plan calls for a little bit different. So I think, I can't tell you the last time we came out of a game and we only threw it 14 times. So again, it's not only the game plan, but also the flow of the game and the way the game is going. We had a lot of 4-minute snaps yesterday, meaning, we were running out. I think at the end of the game, we were run, threw it a couple times. But all those things play into it, and that's just the way a game plays out.
We'll go to Dave and then Ed.
Hey, Nick, now that you've had Quinion and Cooper in the starting lineup for 2 games together, what have you taken away most from their play, and also what you've seen from them behind the scenes all year?
Yeah, I think I see 2 guys that love the game of football and are willing to do everything they can to get better at it. Highly competitive guys, very serious about football. Good teammates, work really hard. All those things that you see out of these guys on a daily basis. And it's good to have their youth and energy out in the field. And they've put together some good games in a row. Coop obviously just starting to become our starter and at the nickel position. He's had 2 good games in a row, and Quinion's been good. Throughout the time that he's been here. He's not fazed by, anything. I think he just goes out and competes and plays his game. He's had a lot of production on the football. I think those are looking like 2 really, really good draft picks. That's really helping our defense grow.
We'll go to Ed and then Jeff.
Yeah, hi, Nick. Just want to ask you, I know, these backups prepared every week like they're going to start. What did you see when Tyler Steen stepped in yesterday from him? And then kind of secondly on the offensive line, who was Fred Johnson's primary backup, or who's the key swing tackle? Is it Driscoll, Kennard, or is it game by game?
Yeah, again, I feel like we have good depth there to have different options. And Coach Stout does a good job of rotating the guys at different spots. So I feel like we have good options there. With our depth, with Jordan out and Fred being starting on the offensive line. There's been a lot of guys that Makai's done it. And so it could be a lot of different answers there. And that's a good thing that you have options. As far as Tyler Steen goes. When he stepped in, in the middle of that game when Makai went down, and I thought he played a really good game. There was a long run by Saquon that him and Lane are having a combination block with 97. He's a really 97. Obviously, is a phenomenal football player. And they combo him, Lawrence, to the linebacker, and Steen has just this perfect timing of when to get off onto the linebacker and leave Lane with Dexter Lawrence and in the place in the crease. And so that takes a lot of work together. That takes a lot of timing together, a lot of practice time together to really fit that block properly. And so just couldn't say enough about the guys and their work ethic, their faith in each other. you know, I definitely see that within the offensive line. Hey, this guy's down. I got faith in the next guy. And they constantly talk about it. And it's awesome when it shows up on tape like that.
We'll go to Jeff and then John.
Hey, Nick, I understand that defensive snaps are down and some of it had to do with matching personnel, but Jordan Davis only played 12 snaps. More Jomo played probably more than almost double that. Is that a change in how you guys are using Jordan? And do you think that he can be a 3-down guy?
Yeah, I think that's just the flow of that game, of how that kind of played out. You know, they were in some more must-pass scenarios. You know, and Jordan, I definitely know can be a 3-down guy. You know, he has strengths. Definitely in the run game is one of his biggest strengths. There's a play yesterday where he kind of pushes the center back into the play. Brandon Graham does a good job of holding the edge of a slice blocker on the edge, and they kind of blow up the run. But I think it was just the you know, we got a lot of faith in Jordan, and he's done a great job of taking care of his body and being in great shape. So we know that he can play, you know, more plays than he did, but it was just the way the game played out yesterday with, you know, some of the more known pass. And Morrow's been doing a good job in those scenarios. You know, that's kind of his specialty, is being able to rush the passer. And he's done a good job of it, you know, thinking back to the high ball that he forced in the New Orleans game on a critical 3rd down. And he's had other, obviously, reps like that since then that put our faith high in him as well. But no, you know, again, how it played out, and got faith in both those guys to perform on both sides there as far as the run and the pass.
We'll go to John and then Martin.
Hey, Nick, 2 quick ones real quick. Is anything behind the sweatshirt ever in danger, I guess? And then just your general philosophy when you see games like that and people talk about identity or formula, is that a real thing to you? Or do you search for stuff like that?
Yeah, you know, as far as that goes, you know, identity, you do have something that you hang your hat on, and I think that's always your core values, and then our identity is constantly adjusting, changing, figuring it out as the year goes, changes a little bit based off, you know, who you're playing. I know that, you know, because we really take pride in our identity being our core values, you know, being a team, playing with great detail, playing with toughness, you know, being accountable. And like scheme stuff is constantly adjusting, to say. And sometimes the identity is and the game is to run it as much as we did yesterday, excuse me. And sometimes the identity is to pass it a bunch, right? And so I think that's just constantly changing and adjusting. As far as the sweatshirt, you know, this was a gift from Coach Singleton, you know, and I like the sweatshirt.
Thanks, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to Martin and then Bob.
Hey, Nick. I know you were kind of asked yesterday about Jalen not having any turnovers the last 2 games, and I was wondering if you think that's a product of him not forcing stuff as much and trusting his guys. And then on the other hand, I mean, he did throw those 2 deep balls to A.J. Brown in kind of critical situations. So I guess, like, what do you make of the fact, you know, that he hasn't had the turnovers, and is he playing differently, or is A.J. just being back a big part of that too?
Yeah, you know, again, Jalen plays the hardest position in sports, in my opinion, you know, where these guys are, you know, coming down there trying to kill you, and he's got to make split decisions on where to go with the football based off of a defense that's trying to deceive you of what they're playing, and, you know, and then have to be accurate with the throw on top of that, while somebody is right in the hip of the receiver, you know, at times, and sometimes they're open by a bunch too. So, you know, again, it takes, you know, a ton of reps. It takes a ton of study, and Jalen's done so much of that to, you know, and he knows how important it is to take care of the football, but he also knows how important it is to win the explosive play battle. So that's not something where, you know, hey, that's what we talk about each week. Hey, let's win the explosive play battle. and let's win the turnover battle. Well, a lot of that falls on his shoulders of being able to push the ball when it needs to be pushed. And sometimes, you get explosive plays. Yesterday we have a check down to Kenny Gainwell. It wasn't an explosive, but it was darn close, of a 12-yard gain because Kenny got the ball in space and was able to make a guy miss. So a lot that plays into it. I think, he's been playing good football and, taking care of the ball and, have this 2-game win streak. And, he's touching the ball every play. So he's a big part of that and big reason why.
We'll go to Bob and then Bo.
Hey, Nick, you guys the last 3 years are 71% on fourth down. It's the best percentage in the league. You weren't so successful your first year at it, 45, I think it was 45 first year. But what does that do for an offense, its confidence? I know someone's the tush push, but what does it do for an offensive confidence when you have that success rate?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, you saw yesterday that led to 21 points where, if you didn't have that confidence in the guys, then that's potentially 9 points, right? Or you punt on one of them because you're a little bit out of range. So I think that's huge. Like it's again, you're constantly thinking about how you score touchdowns, and you're pissed when you got to kick a field goal. And so that extra down gives you a lot to be able to do that. You got to have faith in the guys to be able to do that. And so it takes, it's been a big key to our success these last couple of years is that success on fourth down, turning 3-point plays, turning 3 points into 7 points. But, the 4th and 3, around the 43 yesterday with AJ and Jalen, just, protection was really good. Jalen, it took a little bit of hit, but put a perfect throw on to AJ, who ran a perfect route. That's huge. And then, there was that 4th and 2, I believe it was, in our own, at the 9-yard line or whatever is, they dropped 8. Jalen was patient, and then he went and made an unbelievable play. And so, again, when you can extend drives and give yourself a chance to score, 7 as opposed to 3, all these games are tight. And so those make a big difference. All the credit goes to our guys and, because of how they go out there and succeed, how they go out there and, prepare and handle it.
Thank you.
We'll go to Bo and then Olivia.
Hey, Nick, I know that he wasn't asked to do a ton necessarily. He only had to throw one pass, but in the snaps that Kenny got, are you able to learn anything meaningful about the way he runs the offense for if he is called into action down the road?
Yeah, I think you learn that as practice goes. It's a little, we were in kind of a different mode with the way the score was and where we were in a different mode. So yeah, anytime you go in there and you're able to get snaps in a game, you're analyzing how he's making checks different like that. To say we were running our offense would be, obviously you guys know that wasn't the case. So it's a tough spot for a quarterback to be in. Hey, we're going to run it on 3rd down. And I don't think any quarterback really likes to hear that, but but we get our confidence in Kenny through practice, through preparation, through his preseason, through all the different things. We obviously get to see him every day, and thought he was really good in practice last week, getting our defense ready to play in this game.
Thank you.
We'll end with Olivia and then Zach.
Hey, Nick, yesterday was Sydney Brown's first game back since early January, the regular season finale. As someone who had a front row seat to his rehab, what was it like just as his coach getting to see him get out there? And then also what kind of energy did he bring to practice and then ultimately in the game yesterday, just kind of, getting back into the swing of things?
Yeah, I think everybody gets excited about Sydney and the physicality he plays with, the effort he plays with, the love for this game that he plays with. There's a play yesterday on the tackle that he has as the gunner. They kind of come out to double team him, and he gets a shot on the guy on the vice, the guy that's coming over on the vice, and has great block destruction on his way to making a great tackle in open field in space. And that's the type of thing that we've come accustomed to over the year plus that we've been with Sydney. Have come accustomed to really enjoy about him, the big play ability, the explosive play ability. I think that's just, and everybody, I just saw how hard he worked to get back. That guy, and he just attacked his off season of trying to get himself back ready to play football, and the way he attacked it in the rehab, within the training room, but also just the mental reps that he would get. I mean, every time you'd watch him, he was always getting mental reps. He was always behind the play. He was always just, taking steps to simulate that he was in there. And that guy prepared, for this moment. And now I'm happy he's back. And, I think it'd be sweet if he gets a cool hit on his brother this week or, in this game. But so happy that he's back and playing for us again, because we know what a spark he can be and the energy that he brings to the team.
We'll end with Zach here.
Hey, good afternoon, Nick. What takeaways did you have from the third down cutaways today? And then also on the 3 third and shorts, do you go into those knowing you'll go for it on fourth down?
Yeah, it depends on the situation of the game, Zach. Like sometimes yes, sometimes no. You're always trying to play the scenario. Sometimes that calls for kicking a field goal no matter what. Sometimes that calls for going for it in these scenarios. So that's to our advantage as an offense, that the defenses don't always understand, know when we're doing that and when we're not doing that, because it's different. Each drive, each play, each game situation. The first part of that question, Zach, I'm sorry.
Hey, the
third downs.
The third downs. What stood out when you watched them back today?
Yeah, obviously we got to be more efficient on third down. We kind of count some of those third downs if you convert on fourth down, because you're playing, like you said, to set it up as a win. But we have to be more efficient on those third downs, and we'll a lot of different reasons why. Always will start with us is did we put them in position to succeed, and did we execute? Always going to go in that order, and some thoughts that we had after we looked at it, some different thoughts of protection, some different thoughts of route concepts, some different routes of one-on-ones, that we'll experiment with as we continue to move forward.
Thank you.
All right, Nick Sirianni, there you go. Hear him in the day after presser, not pressed as much after a win, a lot more positive vibes around the team. There was one standout moment about Jalen Hurts that I thought he was asked. He was asked about him not having any turnovers. Is that from not forcing or trusting his guys more? I definitely want to get into that one a little bit more because I don't know. I feel like Hurts is almost so concerned about turning the ball over now that he's not taking shots, that he's being a little timid and a little tentative, and he's really holding the ball. Everything he seems to do is in slow motion sometimes. Only threw 14 passes yesterday, the one big touchdown to A.J. Brown. But does anybody think that Jalen Hurts is now being a little gun-shy almost at times? We're going to talk to Jeff Mosher coming up next from Inside the Birds for Football at 4, the Inside the Birds podcast. I want to get his thoughts on Hurts' performance. Obviously, is this team's identity a running team? And is the defense now a unit that we should trust? We're going to get into all of that coming up next.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season this Sunday in Cincinnati against the Bengals.
Let it go, and it is caught into the touchdown. A.J. Brown.
When there's a question, go to A.J. Brown.
Listen to all the action with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick with pregame coverage starting at noon and kickoff at 1 p.m. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatic Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability. See homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check your sunroof is closed first before driving through the car wash.
Whoa, 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 no. Wait, whoa.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Tune in to the Bet365 Play of the Day during the Sports Bash with me, Mike Gill, every weekday afternoon at 5:45 on 97.3 ESPN. Made possible by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Make a selection from our seasonal food menu, then unwind with one of our sensational cocktails. The South Philly Sizzle, made with Bird Gang Habanero Tequila. Stateside Pumpkin Pie featuring stateside vodka, rum chata, and pumpkin puree. Delicious fiery sangria, tasty spiced apple punch, or the Campfire Mule at participating locations for a limited time. The official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. We're teaming up with Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown for a new wing flavor this football season. A.J. Brown's Sweet Heat Wings. We combine the sweet and spicy flavors AJ loves, plus a portion of the proceeds benefit the AJ Brown Foundation and its focus on empowering underprivileged youth. At participating locations for a limited time, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching
Does this have peanuts?
to waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Every 4 years, the world watches every corner kick, every save, every pass. The world watches its most beautiful game played at its highest level. And for a moment, the world stops turning for soccer. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026, supporting possibilities turned into achievements on the biggest stage. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. member FDIC.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bet. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. Terms and conditions apply.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Thank God I'm a game!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Just in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast.
Just hungry to bring back another Lombardi to Philly. The fans deserve it. Our team deserves it. Culture begs for it.
Now live, this is Football at 4.
Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It's brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, this hour of the show, live from the Fanatics Sportsbook here at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. It's brought to you by Jersey Cow. It's 80 degrees outside. Ice cream is a year-round thing at Jersey Cow. They're open from noon till 10 in Northfield and in Brigantine, and you can enjoy Jersey Cow on a day like today. On a 80-degree day, it's the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN. Jeff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast is with us now as the Eagles win. You just heard from Nick Sirianni, and obviously he was an embattled head coach last week. Everybody was firing questions about him, his job, and everything, Moch. But I look at a number that really stands out to me, and it's not Saquon Barkley's rushing. It's not the sacks. It's the Eagles on the road are the second-best team in the NFL since Nick Sirianni has taken over. They are 20-9 on the road. So Nick had a rough week, but man, 28-3, almost one of the most complete performances this team has had in a long time. It feels like people have to give him credit this week. I don't know what to make of some of the numbers here. I want to get your take on it. Let's go on defense first, where obviously they had 8 sacks. They had 5 last week, 13 in 2 weeks. Their defense yesterday allowed 181 total yards, 105 passing, 76 rushing. The 8 sacks, 5 in the first half from guys that have not had their name called a whole heck of a lot. N'Kobe Dean, Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter got a sack in there. Dean had 2. You talked about schematically. What are the Eagles defensively with Vic Fangio? Is he getting more familiar? Is he getting a better sense of his personnel? What do you make of the defense, as you said, 2 straight weeks of solid play? Is it that, or, hey, man, they played the Browns and the Giants. Relax. Yeah. Well, I mean, you talk about schematically, obviously Dean is one. I mean, they obviously send him on a couple different blitzes from a couple different areas of the field. That's one that certainly stands out. Why just Cooper DeJean doesn't have a sack or anything. I think having him has allowed them to get more creative in the secondary doing things. You just wonder, again, how much is the opponent playing it or no, man, they got some talent over here and you change coordinators. It takes a little time to let this thing kind of become what ultimately where they hope to get to. In coverage, let's get your thoughts on them in the secondary. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He was brought over because he had 6 interceptions a couple of years ago. You needed a playmaker back there. Blankenship had an interception that was called back. Darius Slay. This isn't a very powerful pass offense. Neighbors, Wandell Robinson. What did you think of their pass coverage yesterday? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and their run game was non-existent too, and I don't know if that's the Eagles' run defense is now something either, or the Giants. I guess a lot of this is how impressed are we by what they're doing and the level of opponent. Because I'll ask you, at 4-2, where does this team feel they are? I mean, they're a drop pass from being 5-1, but do we feel that this team is a 4-2, 5-1 feeling team? Right. Fair, fair. Well, that's interesting because you're right. I think if you just said, hey, who looks better, Green Bay or Philadelphia, you would say, well, Green Bay does, yet Philly beat them. And you go all the way back to that night, the Eagles were at full strength in reality, and they really haven't been since that mark. So is that that Brazil game, is that the high water mark for them? Is that their ceiling of who they really can be? Mm-hmm. All right, where do you think this team is without Saquon Barkley? Well, I mean, like they decided to bring DeAndre Swift back. Well, okay, so with that, then does that answer kind of back the Eagles into the corner of what their identity should be? I mean, is that well? I mean, obviously you got Brown and Smith, so you look at that and it's easy to say, "Hey, we got these two great weapons, we got to utilize them." And I said all last week, I said the Eagles' problem is they got too many weapons, and that's not a bad thing. But when you have too many weapons, you try to make them all too happy. The star of this team should be their offensive line and the ability to run the ball behind it, and then you can off of that grow or pick who you want to be the star that week. And I think they've kind of backed themselves into that's who we are. No. No, but I'll tell you what. I mean, you could see. I mean, one of the first plays of the game, it might have been the first. They went under center. They used a fullback yesterday. They had an offset eye in the backfield. It feels at least they are. I don't want to say committed, but are committed to finding out if they can expand their running attack. Yeah. Yeah, well, and that 4th and 3 play, you're anticipating a run and or something short, and it's the second week in a row on 4th and 3. They're able to go down the field, or something like that. They can go and get that one-on-one matchup. So you talk about obviously AJ Brown could be the star of your team, but how many teams, we talk about this a lot. Justin Jefferson, not a lot of success team-wise. There's a lot of great receivers that don't have a lot of team success. It's hard to be a pass-first star receiver offense and win. But yesterday, when you had a 4th and 3 and it came down to it, you got the one-on-one coverage because they were so concerned about Barkley. Yeah, listen, that's it's funny. It's like it almost feels like every once in a while they're just like a playground team and just kind of like, hey, let's just draw it up in the sand and see if this thing works. I want to get your opinion about Hurts. No turnovers, but is it no turnovers because he's kind of growing, or does he seem tentative at times? Right, exactly. It feels. I'm telling you, there's times, man. I said everything he does looks like it's in slow motion, and it's like, what I mean? Like, do you feel that way sometimes? Yes. Yeah, I agree. Like in the first quarter, of course, they don't score again, and that's the storyline, but then it kind of gets washed away by the fact that, but really, this comes from a couple of big runs and one big play. There still doesn't seem that, like, consistency, chain moving, fluidity in the offense. That's where I take from yesterday saying, okay, it's nice to see them run the ball, only 14 passes. That's kind of what the game called for. But it didn't show a lot of fluidity in the offense. And I think a lot of plays are there that he's seemingly a little gun shy at times. Yeah. Well, Moshe, you can talk about this. You know, you guys watch the film more so than I would, but any time a play breaks down and he has to go to his left or his right, really, that play's done. Jeff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast. Of course, you can get that on all podcasting platforms. They do a great job. Football at 4, breaking it down. Eagles win 28-3. They'll play the Bengals next week. Should be an interesting challenge. The Bengals scored 17 points against this Giants team. They beat them 17-7, and they'll now face off in a pretty big game for both teams. I mean, the Bengals are 3-4. They need this game to keep pace in a very talented AFC. The Eagles, obviously, if they want to be in play, I don't know, do you look at this team as in play for a number 1 seed? Is that fair? Yeah. Do you look at them on that level? That's where it's interesting. Yeah, that's where it's interesting, Moshe, is we were talking about this before. They're 4-2. How does this win kind of correlate? And you're like, are they on this? And then you go through the NFC, and you're like, well, the Niners are so banged up. That NFC yeah, exactly. Well, you got that whole NFC North where you got Green Bay, Minnesota, Chicago. Even seems like they're kind of like they. I don't know. It is a weird NFC where this 4-2 team, you're kind of in play right now. You're a game out of a 1 seed, and you have a tiebreaker over Green Bay. Looks like Daniels is going to miss. Looks like Daniels going to be week to week here. Yep. You know what? The two that might get them is the 2 NFC South losses to, Atlanta and Tampa. Losing to those 2 teams might be a problem down the road. How do you feel if you're Chicago at 4-2 in last place? Yeah. Jeff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast, and of course, right here on Football at 4 on the Sports Bass Live. By the way, the Eagles Jacksonville game, they've got demoted from the Sunday night game. They are now no longer playing on Sunday night football against Jacksonville. That will be a 4:05 game against the Jaguars. So Doug Peterson's return, no prime time for that one. That was announced a little while ago. All right, Moshe, we will catch up with you. Well, if I was just saying, like, that, if you're NBC and you can open up your game with Peterson returning and the whole Super Bowl and that, or Indianapolis, Minnesota, like, I get it, Minnesota's pretty decent, but what the heck is Indianapolis bringing to the table? Yeah, maybe. All right, buddy. We'll talk to you Wednesday. All right, Football at 4 is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. All right, coming up, John McMullen is tonight at 5 o'clock. You know, the Eagles have really messed with our scheduling because of when they're doing their practices and press conferences. You know, John generally joins us each day at 3 o'clock, but on some of these days, we've been having to move John around, so he'll be on tonight at 5 o'clock. No Knicks Nuggets. Earnshaw is sick, but Pete G is pinch hitting for the Nuggets today.
I got my hots and my knots. 3 of each.
I made wings yesterday. All drums.
All drums.
All drums for the Eagles game.
No flats.
No flats. Earnshaw's sick, so we'll have Pete G filling in on the Nuggets coming up next here on the Sports Bash. We're live at the Fanatics Sportsbook at the Gallery Bar Book and Games. You know, I burnt the roof of my mouth.
I heard that.
So I had to make
That's
sure.
That's why you need the water?
The water. Well, normally the good people here at Ocean, they have all these little water bottles that they bring out. And I'm like, you know, you talk for 4 hours, your mouth gets a little dry. I said, but I burnt the top of my mouth to a crisp. I was playing injured today. Playing hurt. But we're powering through. Good stuff with Mosher. All right, we got the Nuggets coming up next here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. with Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and Michelle Small. Can't wake up without it. Brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
With GMF financing to qualified buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette excludes prior sales.
Need a car, truck, or SUV? Great! Get to Bennett Chevy, where you're going to get Bennett's best offers ever. You know Bennett sells new Chevys at the true GM supplier employee price, right? Well, right now, Bennett Chevrolet says, how'd you like to buy your new Chevy and pay $500 below the GM supplier employee price? Yes, $500 less than our employees. Plus, you keep all the rebates. That's up to 15% off the sticker. And with available 0% financing, you'll have incredibly low payments. And if you've got an old car to trade, right now you'll get a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Imagine how much we'll pay for good trades. And wait till you experience Bennett's non-commissioned sales team. Paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend, so they'll make getting all these unbelievable deals even better. Together, let's drive. Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through November 12th, get fast, reliable 300 megabit Xfinity internet for just $30 a month for 12 months with no annual contract and unlimited data included. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless plan and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Currently $90 a month. Actual speeds vary.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. NFL, the Eagles easily beat the Giants on Sunday 28-3, improving to 4-2 on the season. Jalen Hurts, 114 yards passing with a touchdown to A.J. Brown. He also ran for 2 scores. Saquon Barkley at 176 yards rushing against his former team with a touchdown. They held the Giants to just 119 total yards with 10 first downs. Philadelphia will travel to Cincinnati, face the Bengals for Week 8. NHL, the Flyers are home Tuesday night hosting the Washington Capitals. Philadelphia looking to snap a 4-game losing skid after losing 3-0 against Vancouver on Saturday night. It's a home-and-home with the Capitals, with the two teams playing in D.C. on Wednesday. NBA, the Sixers open the regular season Wednesday night hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. Paul George will be reevaluated this week for a bone bruise they suffered last week in a preseason game against Atlanta. Joel Embiid should be good to go after missing all of the preseason managing his knee. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
New Jersey might be small, but there's a lot of wow packed into this little state, so what are you waiting for? Wow your way through NJ. Through sculpture gardens, gardens, and loop-de-loops. New Jersey, it's one wow after another after another. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey, little state, lot of wow.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. The warm, sunny, bone-dry weather continues for another couple days here, feeling more like typical Labor Day weather than late October. Clear and cool tonight, not as cold as the past few nights, low of 55 degrees. Tomorrow, very similar to today, sunny skies, nice and warm, high 78. Mostly sunny and breezier Wednesday, high 76, down to 64 on Thursday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card, good for use, at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com.
Seize the deal. You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
When I'm driving, I got a guy on the radio who talks to me. I can't see him, but he talks to me.
On 97.3 ESPN.
Hi, welcome back to Fanatic Sportsbook. It's a great spot to watch all the games. Tonight you got 2 Monday nighters.
There's Daniel Jones walking by right there.
In here.
And Brian Dable right there in front of us. The dumpster.
They had a rough day at the office yesterday. We're at the Fanatic Sportsbook. Both Monday night games here tonight. You got Flyers tomorrow at 6. Sixers opener. You heard Tony in the update there. It looks like Joel Embiid will play. Not sure about Paul George, though. Did you hear the comments from Kevin Garnett on Embiid?
No. Missed those.
He blasted him.
Did he?
Yeah. Well, Embiid came out and said he wasn't going to play back-to-backs. And Garnett said, that's the job, 82 games.
Nah, not anymore, KJ.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
All right, Knicks Nuggets are brought to you by Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. We're at the Fanatic Sportsbook every Monday after the Eagles games. We're here for reaction, and you can get down here to the Fanatic Sportsbook any day for all the games. The Flyers tomorrow, the Sixers on Wednesday. You got a busy World Series Friday night, and, of course, right here on Sunday, it's home. It's a great college football weekend coming up, too. You got Penn State, Ohio State this weekend. Plus, you got, what is it?
Rutgers
Oregon.
and USC.
That's a Friday night. You know they're doing that game Friday night at 11 o'clock.
Wow.
After the World Series.
I don't know if I'm going to be up for that one.
Well, 11 o'clock, it's in at USA. Nick is out today, so Pete is stepping in with today's version of the Nuggets. They're hot or not.
I got my hots and nots. All right, let me give you the stat line here, part of my hot. 16 to 27, 154 yards, 2 picks. and this guy's best receiver, 4 catches, 17 yards. Now, does this guy win that football game with that stat line?
16 to 27. What's the yardage?
154 and 2 INTs.
Well, it sounds like the answer is yes, the way you're asking it.
Yes, that is correct. That is the stat line of Patrick Mahomes yesterday in San Francisco. That's number 1 of my hot.
Yeah, I watched that game. Yesterday was the game that was on in our market after the Eagles game was. I actually watched a lot of the Washington. I was flipping back and forth. I have the YouTube TV because I watched both at the same time. So I did have both games up, but I did have the audio on the
Brady
game, the Kansas City game. It's weird, man. Their offense just seemingly has nothing going for it at all.
And probably Mahomes' worst stat line.
Their defense is good, and they hang in the game, and he makes a play. They hang around,
and
they're
6-0 because of it.
Yeah, they're not. Well, they're like the Eagles last year. They're 6-0, but do you feel great about them? Like, they just keep finding ways to win. We're giving them the benefit of the doubt, though, it feels like. I don't feel like people are being critical of them, of like, you can't sustain, this is not sustainable, how much longer can you do this? But don't they feel a lot like what the Eagles were last year?
Right, but the injuries may catch up to them.
Well, it's like they're not getting Rice back.
They're not going to get Rice back.
They'll get Pacheco.
Pacheco will be
back.
But
the running game hasn't been their problem.
No.
You know, they just don't have a great wide, like they don't have a wideout, and then
Xavier Worthy's probably not that guy.
You just saw 2 trades for wideouts that they weren't a part of.
Right.
They could have got Adams. They could have been in play for Cooper. They chose not to do that. Smith-Schuster got hurt yesterday. He had to leave the game. So, yeah, I mean, where are they getting more weaponry on offense?
I don't think it's going to come.
I don't either, but it feels like we're giving them the benefit of the doubt, though, because they're the Chiefs. Something like last year, the Eagles were 10-1, and you were like, oh, they're finding ways to win. That's what good teams do.
When you talk about the tiers, though, of the AFC, you still put KC at the top, followed by Baltimore, Buffalo.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I did my Fine 5, Ugly 5 last week. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I think I'm pretty sure I had Detroit 1, Minnesota 2. I don't know where I had Kansas City, if I had them 3, 4, or 5. I think they were in the 5, but is that just more because they're the defending Super Bowl champions? Are they really one of the best 5 teams in the league?
I mean, they're 6-0, so I think so.
Well, again, that goes back to we're giving them the benefit of the doubt because they're Kansas City. The eye test says that's not one of the best 5 teams in the league.
All right, let me go to my number 1 not here. Another stat line for you. 10 for 21, 86 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. That guy lost his game, and his name is C.J. Stroud, that lost to the Packers. Mm-hmm. Not a very good showing by Stroud. That's number 1 of my not.
No, he was on my fantasy team yesterday. He was rotten. Nico Collins is out for them. Disappointing loss, I feel like them. You know, I know Green Bay's solid, but that's the kind of a game where Houston gets challenged for the first time, really, and they couldn't elevate with the injury to Nico Collins. They had some struggles in the offense there. You know, Houston's a weird team because – oh, man, I don't know that I believe in them yet. I don't know. I say they're a weird team because they went out and made all these moves. They got Mixon. They added Stephon Diggs. And yet the quarterback who, look, he had a great year last year. He's just been okay this year. It doesn't feel like he's taken that big, big jump to that next level. I mean, he's been okay. He's been good, not great this year. I don't know what to make of that. I think I had them number 5 in my Fine 5 last week.
I mean, those are the games you probably got to win if you want to be taken seriously.
Well, that's the game where Jordan Love, who, I know he's a little bit more.
He made some mistakes, and they didn't really take advantage of them.
He's a little bit more of a veteran because he sat for 2 or 3 years, but this is his second year as a starter, and he outplayed C.J. Stroud yesterday. There's no question about that. He had the better game and led his team to look, that's one of those games where Green Bay looks back to and gets a win that maybe they were, I don't know, maybe they went into that week thinking it's going to be a tough spot for us, and they get in that division. We were just talking about with Moshe. Look at the NFC right now. That number 1 seed is in play for all these teams that are 4-2. Philadelphia, Green Bay, Minnesota has one loss. Who else is in that mix there? Tampa. The NFC wide open.
All right, my second hot of the weekend, Detroit, Minnesota, game of the day, 31-29.
Good game.
Both quarterbacks only 8 combined incompletions from Darnold and Goff. Are you starting to look at Jared Goff here as a guy that could put himself in the MVP conversation?
He has to. Josh, what was that stat you gave me on Jared Goff earlier today?
Yeah.
He is living off of the fact that he was the number 1 pick, and I say living off of negatively. He was the number 1 overall pick and never felt like it.
So
he's been to a Super Bowl, and now he's turned over a franchise who's been down rotten and made them you believe in them. What's the stat?
So, according to NFL Stats and Info, in the last 4 games, the Lions have more touchdowns, 18, than Jared Goff has incompletions,
There you
15.
go.
He makes the right decision. Look, he's just one of them guys that doesn't wow you with the arm strength. He doesn't wow you with his ability to move. He doesn't wow you with really anything he does. He just kind of makes the right play and the right decision, and he's an accurate thrower of the football. He's got good touch. Yeah, I mean, there's not a clear-cut MVP candidate right now with Mahomes having kind of a down statistical season. Stroud hasn't taken that next jump. Jalen Hurts is certainly not in that mix. So, I don't know. We're at the Fanatics Sportsbook right now. Who's the favorite for MVP?
Go place a future. I mean, I would say Lamar probably. We'll see what he does tonight, but I think he's probably up there.
Yeah.
By the way, another stat about Goff. So, Jared Goff is the first quarterback in a 4-game span to have at least an 80% completion percentage. The last guy was Peyton Manning.
I'm telling you, he makes the right decision, it seems like, all the time. Goff is definitely a guy that you have to take serious. And I'm going to find those MVP odds because I haven't looked at them in a couple of weeks here because it just doesn't seem – you mentioned Lamar Jackson. He's probably got to be at the top of that list right now.
Maybe Saquon.
Right now, it's
some action on Saquon.
So right now, I got some MVP. At least one book has Mahomes and Lamar tied at plus 450. Josh Allen is plus 500. Jared Goff is plus 600. So he is number 4.
Yeah, I don't. Mahomes can't be in that conversation right now,
Yeah,
can he?
his stat line is awful this year.
Right, statistically speaking, wins and losses, they're the best. 6-0, they're the best team in the league.
I feel like that's just them trying to steal money from all of the Chief fans and the Swifties.
Right, they're gonna, yeah, exactly. They're going to get money in on them. There isn't, other than I think Detroit. I had the number 1 last week
Yes,
in my
you did.
Fine Five. I think they're the best team. But the problem is the Hutchinson loss for them in the big picture. That's a huge loss for them. Huge loss for their defense.
But wouldn't that make, if Goff gets them to a number 1 seed, even more impressive?
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
Okay.
about there are no elite teams.
Right.
There's no teams that you feel like are unbeatable.
Well, let me ask you this. If someone were to stop Detroit, beat them in a playoff game, do they outscore them, or does their defense
No, I think
stop
they
Goff?
outscore them. I think it's a game like yesterday,
You have to outscore
31-29.
Detroit, right.
Yeah, because their offense, unless there's an injury that happens to them that derails them a little bit, they're very good on the offensive line. They can run the ball with both of those guys. Montgomery left the game yesterday. He ended up coming back from what I remember. But Hutchinson, that injury is going to put them into where you have to outscore them. And look, even with Hutchinson, their defense was not great.
It wasn't great, but I mean, it was a defense that you worried about with Hutchinson out there. Whereas now,
you worried
don't
about
worry.
him.
He's
you
the
worried
TJ
about
Watt
him, no
type,
question.
the game record type.
Yeah,
the
but
game
there's
record.
no team that in the AFC right now that you feel like, wow, they're head like Baltimore's a good, solid team. They run the ball. They're physical. They're always Baltimore. But in the end, until Lamar Jackson wins that big game in the playoffs, I think you're going to just say, look, this team is good. We know they're good, but you got to get to the Super Bowl, and then we'll figure it out. Other than them, there's nobody else in the West. That South, I mean, is Houston ready to take that jump? It doesn't look like it. I mean, they're a good team, but are they a great team? Pittsburgh, I don't know, with Russell Wilson, do we feel that team is now offensively? They were a challenged offense last night. In that second half of the game, they started to do some more things. It's going to be an interesting connection with Pickens and Wilson. He likes to throw that high arcing pass, and Pickens is a guy that likes to go down the field. Are they a good match for each other to make Pittsburgh offense now give them a big play threat? Are they on that level with the rest of the teams? Maybe. Baltimore. Can Cincinnati? I just don't know.
That would be amazing if they came back.
Right, the Cincinnati situation, just too many injuries, and in Buffalo. Buffalo's the other team. I think the Jets their defense, just no toughness. That team just doesn't have the toughness.
All right, I got one more hot here, and it's Major League Baseball. Dodgers and Yankees take care of business over the weekend. We got a little East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
Ohtani, Betts, Judge, Stanton.
Friday night, hey, listen, you're getting L.A., New York.
Soto.
Should be fun. The Stars will be out. Friday night, they're going to play to start the World Series, so you're going to have this whole layoff for this whole week here. No baseball all week long. Are they missing an opportunity? Could they have started tomorrow night? Could they have started tomorrow? Get it on a Tuesday, Wednesday. Go Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday if you're baseball.
Well, you gotta get the week up, the lead up, the media day, all that stuff.
Sports Pass Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. All right, the Hot Knots today, filling in for Nick's Nuggets. Nick, feel better, buddy. We hope you're back tomorrow. They're brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games Fanatics Sportsbook. That's where we're live today. You got 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. And, of course, you can listen to the Bucks and the Ravens. We're going Bucks-Ravens for you tonight on 97.3 ESPN. And, of course, coming up at 5 o'clock, Johnny Mack. John McMullen will be here. All that and more. More Sports Bash on the way on 97.3 ESPN.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season this Sunday in Cincinnati against the Bengals.
Let it go, and it is caught into the touchdown. A.J. Brown. When there's a question, go to A.J. Brown.
Listen to all the action with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick with pregame coverage starting at noon and kickoff at 1 p.m. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Mike Gill. The Nizam's Indian Restaurant on Route 40 in Egg Harbor Township is ready to serve you delicious Indian dishes. NJ.com ranked them as the #2 best restaurant in all of New Jersey. And this just in. It's their Eagles football special. Your table receives free tandoori, spicy chicken wings if the Eagles win for dine-in customers only. Join them for a special lunch buffet, Fridays through Sundays from 11:30 to 3 p.m. Visit thenizams.com for more information.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching
Does this have peanuts?
to waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal.
Ooh.
The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability. See homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
It's the time of year for killer deals. You've had your eye on some hot new wheels. We want to pay off your loan or lease and tell your old car to rust in peace.
Visit Matt Black Kia today. Buried in a loan or lease? Matt Black Kia wants to get you released and treat yourself to 0 down, 0 payments until next year, even 0% after 72 months on every clearly marked new Matt Black Kia in stock. You won't need a costume to get a brand new Matt Black Kia Forte LXS under 20 grand. That's right, a brand new Kia, just $19,999 with any trade. That's less than most used vehicles.
It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
With credit 24 EV9 and 6, $1388 per thousand. Not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblackkia.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes through KMF. Rebates and incentives to deal. Expires 10/31/24. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill
Do I have everybody's attention now?
on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, 4:52 live at the Fanatics Sportsbook. You know, the Eagles got their game moved from Sunday night to a 4 o'clock. You happy with that?
Yeah, I'll take that. I mean,
Rather the 4:05 start?
Yeah. By the time those games start, I'm so tired. Then I got to watch the post game till like 12:30 a.m. I can't do it.
So they're going next week. Second week in a row, by the way, that the Eagles have been flexed out. And I got a little message here from a little birdie who told me a Fox producer said ratings are for the birds this season. Podcasts, social media, radio, TV, across the board. People not believing in this Eagles team, and the ratings are kind of throwing that out there. All right, what do we got on the text board there, Josh?
Let's try to squeeze in a couple here. 609-403-0973. Kevin from Northfield chimed in earlier, Mike. He says, I'm impressed with the Eagles win. The team is getting better each week. They're dominating up front on both sides of the ball, even without their left tackle and tight end. Side note, if Quinyon Mitchell could catch, he would be viewed as a top 5 corner in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I like Mitchell a lot. I think that kid is a player. I definitely think that he is a guy, as a coverage guy. Now, you know, the interceptions will start coming for him. But I like the combination of him and Cooper DeJean together. He's right. Their offensive line not intact. So what do? You do what guys like to do. You run the ball, and you saw that yesterday. You know, Jordan Mailata, though, on the IR, that means he's out for at least 3 more games.
Colt from LBI chimes in and says, the Eagles win is impressive because it gives you hope the D-line is finally getting going, but I don't think you learned anything about this team. The slow starts with the quarterback playing okay. The offense is still the same. It's all Saquon and deep balls. That's from Cole and LBI.
Yeah, they got to get a little bit more, like I said with Mosher, a little bit more fluidity to the offense. Like, it doesn't feel like there's setting up plays to set up something down the road. You know, there's just seems like, hey, we're going to hand it to Saquon. If he can bust one, great. And if we have to go deep every now and then, we will.
There's no rhythm, right?
Yeah, no fluidity,
tempo.
no rhythm, no like, hey, little pitch and catch. You saw a little bit of it yesterday. You saw a couple little pitch and catches. There was a play early in the game. They went under center, 1, 2, 3, bang. They got it out. Couple missed tackles. You see it all the time. All right, next hour, John McMullen joins us with a, you know, we'll look to see where this team feels like they are right now. That's coming up next. This hour of the show is brought to you by Jersey Cow. Beautiful day to get out there and get some ice cream. Northfield, Brigantine, Jersey Cow.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedorn bring you all the exciting play-by-play action. It's Flyers Cap tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey. 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Score a touchdown when you bank with Jersey Shore Federal Credit Union. Catch lower rates on loans and higher rates on savings. You'll cheer when you don't have to pay a penny to get your own money since they offer 85,000 surcharge-free ATMs. Get the details or open an account online with just a $25 minimum deposit at JerseyShoreFCU.org or swing to a branch in Northfield, Galloway, Hemington, or Rio Grande. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? Because I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens. And it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
The best call to make on game day is ordering catering from the Piccadilly Inn.
For parties big or small, the Pick does it all. Your guests will be cheering for the Pick spin on football favorites like pulled pork nachos, cheesesteaks, burgers, and their award-winning buffalo wings, tails, and ears. Get your chicken wing fix on Route 206 at the Piccadilly Inn. Join the flock and follow the Pick on Facebook or at piccadilly.com for their Pick game specials. And be sure to pre-order to guarantee your spot in Sunday's lineup.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Mike Gill.
It was a great move by Howie and the Eagles to not only get a great player, but to take a great player from another team in your division. So that's kind of like a double hit there. You know, it's like winning a double header instead of just one game. You don't only get a good player, but you take one from your competitors. So I thought that was a great acquisition by Philly.
Bill Belichick, he likes the acquisition by the Eagles. The Giant fans, not a fan of the move, but where would the Eagles be without Saquon Barkley? 176 yards and a touchdown. The average 10 yards a carry. Second most rushing yards for Barkley in a game since 2019 when he had 189 against I think they were called the football team at that time. They might have been the Redskins at that time in 2019. 176 yards were the second most by a player against his former team of all time. He could have gone over that number. He kind of said, my day is done. 658 rushing yards this year is the most by an Eagles running back through 6 games in a season ever. And John McMullen is here to talk about him on the Sports Bash Live. And he is brought to you, as always, by our friends at Boardwalk Honda. Shop the lineup of new, pre-owned, and certified pre-owned Hondas online, boardwalkhonda.com. And John, obviously, he steals the show, Saquon Barkley, yesterday. And, we asked the question so much, what would this team be without him? Who are the Philadelphia Eagles with or without Saquon Barkley? And I guess the question kind of goes to, have they kind of backed themselves into the corner of what their identity should be? Yeah. Well, and listen, that's all fine and dandy, but they threw the ball 14 times yesterday. I get it. I agree with what you're saying, too, by the way. All these games have different personalities. But a really good team has to be able to do something well. And is this team finding out that this is what we do well? That because, quite frankly, mm-hmm. That's a good point. Well, and so it was yesterday the first unlocking of, hey, we could do this really well, and if we continue to do this well, that should help us do that well. Or do they just want to kind of wedge it in there whenever it's convenient for them? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, and I was going to say, because the passing game, I know they only threw 14 yesterday, but I said, I'm sitting here today earlier in like the first hour where like, I don't remember any receiver having a catch yesterday other than A.J. Brown. I mean, it just seems like if they don't throw one up to him, what is this offense? There's no fluidity. There's no rhythm in the pass game still. And that's where you're like, okay, what is this offense? Because the passing game doesn't seem like it's caught up to where they, or how effective the run game can be. Yeah. Well, hmm well, and that's the thing. They win 28-3, John, in this league, and games are close all over the place. I mean, no matter how good or bad teams are, games are close. And to go on the road and win 28-3 is just kind of the turning of the corner of the, this team has just felt like for almost a season and a half now that there's been a cloud hanging over them in terms of, well, they win, but it's not impressive enough. And then they beat a team, well, that team's not good enough. 28-3 on the road. I get it. It's the Giants, but did it feel like in the with around this team that finally they had that game that they were like, you know what, we took a step in the right direction. Is the defense's growth, a byproduct of, hey, Vic Fangio is getting more familiar with the talent and personnel that he has? Is that, part of it, or is it the opponent? Right. Mm-hmm. Well, and 13 sacks in 2 weeks. I mean, you're starting to say, look, for a chunk of this season, it was they can't get to the quarterback. Now, all of a sudden, 13 sacks in 2 weeks. Are we supposed to believe that they have figured out and unlocked the pass rush? Probably not. They're 4-2. All right. I don't know where you put them though in the pantheon of this, very cloudy and muddled NFC. Are they in play in your mind for a number one seed type of conversation, or are they somewhere in the middle? I mean, what do you make of where this team is at 4-2? Yeah. Yeah, no, I like, to me, it's Detroit is my number one. I had them number one in my Fine Five last week. I have them at the top. And then, yeah, I feel like even on both sides, I don't know that there's another team in the entire league that is on that level. It seems that it's Detroit and everybody else is kind of like in that next tier. Yep. Well, not the way like this goes back to like not the way their passing offense looks, but with the passing talent they have, you're saying why shouldn't they be able to? And that takes us to the quarterback, which you hinted at. Man, Martin Frank, I think, asked a question today that kind of stood out to me. He said there's been no turnovers. Is that a product of not forcing, that he's trusting his guys? And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, I feel like he's tentative. Everything he does looks like it's in slow motion. So he's not turning the ball over, but man, he's taking sacks. He gets out of that pocket pretty quickly. And anytime he goes to the left, that play is over. I don't know what to make of the no turnovers other than it just looks like he's a little gun shy. Yeah, right. Right. Well, he does make some throws where you're like, man, that's a perfect throw. Um, and this goes back to the things that he feels comfortable with. But if it appears there's not enough things he feels comfortable with. No. Yeah. Well, and to say that Javonte Smith didn't have a catch, I don't even remember a ball thrown his way yesterday. I mean, that. Mhm. All right, couple quick hitters. Are they doing anything different with Huff? He had a sack. He's around the quarterback. Is there anything different that they've kind of used? Are they using him differently? All right. Obviously, big week here. They got demoted again, John. They got demoted from Sunday Night Football next week to a 4:00 game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I can understand, like, Jacksonville's not very good, Philadelphia, but I thought maybe Philly, Peterson. I mean, it's not like they had a great choice. To get demoted for a Colt Viking game, that's not a good sign. Yeah. That's the 425. That's the 425 Fox game. So Fox wasn't giving that up. Detroit, Green Bay. There wasn't a lot of great choices. That's why I was a little surprised. Josh said to me today, "Oh, do you think that?" And I said, "I thought the window was closed." I guess I was wrong about that. I don't know. They got some weird rules for the different networks. I know Mondays are different from Sundays, and Sundays are different from Thursdays. Thursdays, I think you need 4 weeks' notice or something like that, and I guess Sunday's the least stringent of them. But, yeah, there wasn't a lot of great options. I guess Miami, Buffalo, if you get Tua, should be back for that game, I guess. That might have been a little bit more interesting. Maybe, I don't know, Dallas, Atlanta. Yeah. Gotcha. All right, there you go. Sunday Night Football next week. The Eagles will be moved out of the Sunday night game. They're going to go to 4:00 against Jacksonville. This week, they got moved from 4:25 to 1:00, and you can listen to both of those games on 97.3 ESPN. All right, coordinators talk tomorrow. We'll hear from Vic Fangio, John McMullen, Birds 365, Sports Illustrated here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks, John. As always, John's brought to you by Boardwalk Honda. Shop their lineup of new pre-owned and certified pre-owned Hondas online at boardwalkhonda.com. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash.
Also, Detroit plays on Sunday night the following week against
well, there's that part, too, but Fox
Arizona,
wasn't given that game
against Houston.
Fox wasn't given
right,
that
no,
game.
that was blocked,
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
But there's also, like, I feel like the Jets are on
Prime
every
time.
week.
Jets, KC.
Every week. You're only allowed so many. I think it's 6 is the number.
But now there's like the wiggle room with the Netflix game on Christmas. We get the Chiefs on that game. We get the Black Friday Chiefs.
We talked to Colin Thompson about this last year, and he said the one problem is when you have success and you are the team that's like the media darling in terms of the networks, he said football players don't like that. And how a team handles that schedule. In other words, playing primetime games like
every
day. You don't realize how that changes everything you do during the week to prepare. All right, more Sports Bash on the way. We got Big Three, got text board. That text board's been lighting up today. We haven't got a lot of big chance to get through those text messages. We'll try to do our best on the other side. 609-403-0973. Fire your text messages in now. We'll get in as many as we can here at the Fanatic Sportsbook at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Keeping the fans entertained and happy.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Hi, I'm Larry Mintz. When dealing with a workers' compensation claim, in most cases, the injured worker doesn't get the money they're entitled to. That's why you need the right lawyer. When injured on the job, call us first. We'll speak with you for free and get you all the money and benefits you deserve.
Make the right call to Golden Bird Macklin. Call us at 609-344-7131. That's 609-344-7131. Or visit us online at gmslaw.com.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
With GMF financing, the qualified buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette excludes prior sales.
Need a car, truck, or SUV? Great! Get to Bennett Chevy, where you're going to get Bennett's best offers ever. You know Bennett sells new Chevys at the true GM supplier employee price, right? Well, right now, Bennett Chevrolet says, how'd you like to buy your new Chevy and pay $500 below the GM supplier employee price? Yes, $500 less than our employees. Plus, you keep all the rebates. That's up to 15% off the sticker. And with available 0% financing, you'll have incredibly low payments. And if you've got an old car to trade, right now you'll get a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Imagine how much we'll pay for good trades. And wait till you experience Bennett's non-commissioned sales team. Paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend, so they'll make getting all these unbelievable deals even better. Together, let's drive Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
The time for holiday hosting is upon us, so make your second bathroom second to none with HomeDepot.com's best savings of the season. Right now, enjoy up to 40% off select online bath. Find the latest on-trend styles of vanities, faucets, showers, tubs, toilets, and more, all at prices that will let your budget relax right along with you and your beautifully renovated bath. Get up to 40% off select online bath plus free delivery at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see HomeDepot.com/delivery for details.
Common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods foods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. The Eagles go to 4-2 with a 28-3 victory at MetLife Stadium on Sunday against the Giants. Jalen Hurts, 114 yards passing, had a touchdown to A.J. Brown. The day belonged to Saquon Barkley at 176 yards rushing against his former team with a score. They held the Giants to 119 total yards and 10 first downs. New York now 0-4 at home. Philadelphia in Week 8 will be on the road to face Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Flyers home on Tuesday night hosting the Washington Capitals. Philadelphia looking to bounce back after a 3-0 loss to Vancouver on Saturday. They'll be looking to snap a 4-game losing skid. This is also a home-and-home with the Capitals. The two teams play in Washington on Wednesday. The Sixers opening up the regular season Wednesday night, hosting Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. Joel Embiid should be good to go after missing all of the preseason, managing his knee. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
New Jersey is the Garden State. But did you know that one of the most important things we can farm is wind? Offshore wind provides clean, renewable energy. It creates jobs and drives economic growth. In fact, it's estimated that a single wind farm can create over 4,000 jobs and add more than $700 million to the state's economy. Offshore wind, propelling New Jersey's future. To learn more, visit nj.gov/offshore wind.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. The warm, sunny, bone-dry weather continues for another couple days here, feeling more like typical Labor Day weather than late October. Clear and cool tonight, not as cold as the past few nights, low of 55 degrees. Tomorrow, very similar to today, sunny skies, nice and warm, high 78. Mostly sunny and breezier Wednesday, high 76, down to 64 on Thursday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
Earn entries for your chance to be one of the lucky winners of a complete his or hers YSL collection, now through October 26th. Show your timeless sophistication during the YSL collection drawing, only at Borgata. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill
The voice of the voiceless.
on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Coming to you live from the Fanatics Sportsbook, Ocean Casino Resort, Atlantic City. I'm Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash. All right, we're going to try to go through all the text messages that we haven't hit on today. 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973. Impressed by the Eagles' win. No, it was the Giants. Starting to believe in this team. Starting to think they turned the corner. Where do we sit with this team? Let's go to the text board. 609-403-0973. What do we got?
All right, so I'm just going to rattle through these from earlier in the day to now. So let's start from Mike from Wildwood. Mike, he chimed in earlier today. He said, it's a great win for the Eagles, moving in the right direction. The bad Giants seem to beat up on them. I'm not highly impressed, but happy we got the win and look like a team. That's from Mike in Wildwood.
Well, I mean, listen, yeah, the fact that they were able to run the ball, the fact that they were able to get big plays when they did. The problem is, that's the thing. They rely too much for the big play. Like, you get these big runs from Saquon Barkley. I just don't picture you getting that at week. That's not a recipe of week-to-week success to me. You've got to be able to be more balanced. Look, it's funny. The run-the-ball crowd's happy yesterday. What do they have, 256-yard rushing? But you had 14 complete pass attempts yesterday. You got sacked 4 times, too, by the way. So that was all mixed in.
Yeah, it was definitely not a balanced win, to say the least. Rick in EHC chimes in, Mike. He says, the Eagles suffocated the Giants. So to me, that the win is impressive. It may be nitpicking, but the not scoring in the first quarter is still concerning for me. That's from Rick in EHT.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of them not scoring in the first quarter, getting off to these slow starts. It matters if the other team is scoring and you can't keep up with them. Like, if your defense is doing its job and holding them, then I guess it doesn't matter. It didn't matter yesterday. They won. They only gave up 3 points in the game. But it is concerning and frustrating, but I don't know what to make of it if the other team doesn't score. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, isn't part of the problem also with this is that, it's almost like you put cruise control on at the end. So it makes the fans maybe feel like, you maybe have more in the tank.
Well, I mean, I think it's more of an aesthetics thing. It's something to complain about. Hey, they can't score. And when it's perceived, I think Orlovsky said it last week, when you come out and script the first 15 plays and you're not successful, it's another reason to pour on the coach, which everybody just loves to do.
That's true. They love to pour on.
It is definitely a crutch of blame.
That's why Sirianni made my top 10 list of the most controversial guys in Philadelphia sports. Mr. 602 chimes in, Mike. Says, give the Eagles defense credit for sacking the quarterback. They held Neighbors in check, and they shut down the running backs who had played well in recent weeks. That guy, Tracy Jr. They still have a huge problem to the Eagles scoring in the first quarter. That cannot be sustained.
I don't know what to make of the sacks. I mean, the Giants line stinks. The Cleveland line stinks. I don't know what to make of that, man. I can't get excited about this pass rush that couldn't sniff a quarterback for a couple of weeks, and now all of a sudden you have 13-2. Look, it's great, but if I need a sack against
Joe Burrow.
Right. Well, Joe Burrow's line's not great either.
Well, but that ball comes out much quicker than Daniel Jones.
That's definitely
that's
true.
In 2 seconds.
That's true. But I couldn't get a sack when I needed it. I couldn't sniff a sack against Tampa Bay. And their line's not great. They just had a good game plan. I don't know what to make of the sack. Good to see. It's a positive, right? I mean, it's a step in the right direction that, hey, we can get to the quarterback, but does it mean we can get to the quarterback when the opponent dictates we can? That's what it seems like to me.
Mike, Mr. 305 has 2 different points for you today because Mr. 305 loves to make his points. So the first one is, Mike, anytime you dominate in a win in the NFL is impressive. I don't buy into all that matters is a win, even if you don't play well. The Eagles were winning a lot of ugly games the first half of last year, and people weren't impressed, and it foreshadowed the collapse that happened at the end. That's point number 1.
Yep. Well, listen, he's right about the first part. When you win in the NFL and you can dominate a team, this league is predicated on close games, one-score games, even bad teams. They hang around these games. The Giants have been in almost every game that they played in, right? I mean, they're not getting the doors blown off. Heck, they went to Seattle and won a game this year.
The Giants won 2 games on the road this year. So
they went to Seattle and scored almost 30 points without Malik Neighbors in that game. So
if they're close games, though, is it good football or is it just a compelling game?
Well, that's the point, though. The whole league is filled with parity and mediocrity.
Right.
So when you finally become a team that wins that week 28-3, and you just completely, it wasn't even close. The game was never competitive.
I think that's the bigger thing is that the game was never competitive. It wasn't just like, hey, you were running away from them and they tried to catch up. Like, no, you literally just were like, yep, you're not scoring and we are done with you.
I just don't know what I can make of it. Am I impressed that they won the game 28-3? Yes. Am I impressed that they dominated the game? Yes. Am I impressed that they got 8 sacks? Yes. Am I impressed with the Saquon Barkley in the run game? Yes. But do I think that if they had a team that was a little bit more talented on the other side, that the game was going that way? Probably not. And big picture, they're 4-2. I still don't put them on a level. I think they're below a level that I anticipated them to be at with this roster. Now, injuries have been a factor, but I felt that this team would have more Super Bowl feeling than wild card feeling. And right now I feel this team's more of a wild card feel, like a one and done type of feel.
Which I think goes to the second point from Mr. 305. I'm glad you said that, Mike. I think he misheard you earlier because he said
that's normal for that dude.
Yeah, he says, Mike,
I gotta have a beer with that guy one time. I would love to have a beer with that guy.
Tell him to come on up here on Mondays.
He just has bad hearing. He mishears what I say so much. Go ahead.
He says, Mike, don't compare the Eagles to the Chiefs. The Chiefs deserve the benefit of the doubt.
I'm not comparing them to the Chiefs.
He says the Chiefs deserve the benefit of the doubt
That's
every
what
year.
I said. I said the Chiefs deserve the benefit of the doubt because they win the Super Bowl. That's why it's different than the Eagles. The Eagles did not win the Super Bowl, so people question them. We're not questioning the Chiefs because they get the benefit of the doubt. I said that. Go ahead.
I'm going to move on to the next text because the rest of what he said just is making me laugh too much. Jerry from Brigantine chimes in and says, when you guys are talking about statistics with a good defense, it made me think of the Eagles with Randall Cunningham and Reggie White. That's from Jerry and Brigantine.
It felt like one of those games where, like, you used to say to Randall, just run around and make a play, and the defense will, like, win the game.
That was the whole offense, basically.
I mean, that was the Buddy Ryan teams. It was the McNabb teams early, too. It was, hey, Donovan, run around, make 2 plays, and we'll keep them under 17 points.
One more text I want to get in here, Mike. It's from Stan in Galloway. He says, at least we beat the Giants.
Well, Stan, we beat the Giants almost every single time we play them. I mean, I just saw a stat on that. Where did that go? Here we go.
I mean, everybody's beating the Giants nowadays.
The Eagles are 27-7 in their last 34 games against the Giants. They're 14-3 in their last 17 matchups against the Giants.
So do you think then Stan in Galloway is too focused on the loss at the end of last year?
He could be. They lost that game last year. And I was asking the question on Friday, like, hey, was that win last year the one that kind of reignites this, rivalry in terms of the Giants getting back into it? The Eagles have just dominated this rivalry so much so. But no, the Giants, look, they got a lot of problems. I think the Neighbors pick was they hit that one. That's going to be such an interesting offseason for them.
Well, what about the Dable hire? Is he starting to? I mean,
Well,
he's
that's
on
what
the hot seat.
That's where I was getting into is, okay, so what did we talk about last week? Like, oh, my God, if Barkley has a game like he did, I mean, he basically embarrassed them yesterday.
Right.
Well, heads roll out there. But McGarry brought it up earlier. Like, in hindsight, though, I think they made the right decision. I think they handled it poorly.
They made the right decision of letting Saquon walk out the building.
Yeah.
They just handled it poorly.
They handled it poorly
Right,
by letting it play out on TV, but you can't – that team – look, when they drafted Saquon, they got slammed for it because they needed a quarterback. And they took a running back with the number 2 pick in the draft. Now, hindsight, I don't know that there was a quarterback in that draft that would have helped them at number 2. I don't really remember everybody that was around there at that time.
Well, Darnold was picked right after him, for example.
Yeah, and Darnold, well, I mean, he's playing well now. But
Well, now, 3-4 teams later.
Yeah, exactly. But that team was not a running back away from being a good football team.
But Dable was supposed to be this quarterback whisperer type guy.
Well, I will say this, okay? They went to the playoffs a couple of years ago with, look, Daniel Jones playing solid football, but they had a great run game with Saquon. And
Josh Allen gets picked 7th overall in that draft, by a way.
Yeah, I just pulled
then
it
they
up.
should have taken him at number 2.
Well, you could argue there's Josh Allen isn't who he is if it wasn't for Dable getting a hold of him in Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Because
But
Allen's first year, he was messy.
But what I would say is if they have Barkley and Neighbors on this team, now they're saying, listen, if we paid Barkley, it will hinder our ability to fix the team elsewhere. So now they go out and get Devin Singletary. Now, Joe Shane is the GM there. He built the Bills. And he's saying, I didn't have a Barkley with the Bills. I had Devin Singletary with the Bills. We had a quarterback, and we had a good defense, and we had Stephon Diggs. That's the way I want to build this team. So if they sign Barkley, where does that limit them someplace else? The problem is
Daniel Jones
is the problem.
Right, that's the real problem.
So they have to get out of that Jones deal and move on from that.
Yeah. Mike, let's squeeze a couple more texts in here. 609-403-0970. Corey, the Commanders fan, chimes in and says, Mike, I appreciate the love for the Commanders. I believe we will be in contention till the very end. I would like to hear your thoughts, and I would have a beer with you, says Corey, the Commanders guy.
Well, Corey, if you remember in the summer, I was saying all along, if Jaden Daniels can play, that team could be the one that goes from worst to first because I like the rest of their team. I just hate their quarterbacks over the last X amount of years. But if he could play, I kept comparing them to last year's Houston team. How long is Daniels out? Week to week, is it?
Week to
It's
week.
week to week. Yeah, it's a rib issue.
Okay, so that we'll see what ends up happening. I mean, Mariota came in, but that Carolina team's so bad. They're awful.
I mean, that
So
Carolina team made Mariota look like he was like 10 years younger.
Yeah, I don't know what
that coach is going to be a one and done.
Canales?
I don't. Yeah, he's going to be gone.
Well, the owner down there is so volatile. Corey, we'll see at 99 bottles, hopefully. 99 bottles, by the way. We're going to have an announcement on 99 bottles.
Location?
Here. Well, we know the location. We're going to be at Mud
Everyone
Hen.
knows the location. Okay.
Mud Hen in Wildwood at the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That's the day, that's the time, that's the place. But we already entered a bunch of people. We had the list in front of us. I don't have it in front of me right now. But how many spots are left? We will start registering people for this year's 99 bottles probably soon. We'll have an announcement on that tomorrow or Wednesday. But, yes, we will be at Mud Hen in Wildwood. 99 growlers this year.
Oh, growlers.
Well, they don't have bottles there.
I got you.
You ever been to Mud Hen?
No.
It's a great spot. Great spot. I was down in Cape May County this weekend there, Pete and Josh.
I heard.
Yep.
I'm proud of you for expanding your horizons.
It's 2 weeks. Actually, I was in Cape May County Friday night and Saturday.
Wow.
Yep. Friday night and Saturday.
Did you get those pizza slices?
Pizza slices?
Yeah, that story from a couple weeks ago. You ordered, 5 slices and
no.
They didn't give you a pie?
No.
That's never going to happen to him again.
No, that's not happening again. I take the blame for that. All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. We'll get ready to wrap up the show. Got my Bet365 plays of the day. We'll get the update on how I did this weekend because I honestly have no idea. We'll get the updated standings and 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. Flyers look terrible on Saturday. They play tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN. That's a 6 o'clock puck drop. And then the Sixers open the season on Wednesday night right here on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball Wednesday night on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Paul George with it skids to a stop, steps back 19-footer to the left of the key, and that's good.
It's Sixers Bucks Wednesday night. Coverage begins at 7:30. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Kids, work, running errands, sitting in traffic. Life is busy. Shore Physicians Group wants you to take time for your health. Shore Physicians Group offers the highest level of quality, compassionate care close to home with convenient locations in Margate, Marmora, Mays Landing, Northfield, Ocean City, and Summers Point. Life is busy. Take time for your health. Visit shorephysiciansgroup.com and make your appointment today.
Get your holidays started with the perfect tree in your perfect style from the Home Depot. Whether you want something that you can assemble in a few clicks, steal the show with over 2,000 color-changing bulbs, or a tree with lights that can be controlled by remote or foot pedal. The Home Depot has it all in our huge assortment of premium trees. Plus, get free delivery on over 2 million items this holiday from the Home Depot. Subject to availability, see homedepot.com/delivery for details.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Broadleaf's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning is your trusted source for generations, and they are ready to keep you comfortable this fall. Schedule your heater tune-up today, and if you're ready to upgrade your HVAC system, act now. The NEIF financing program is back for qualifying ACE customers, offering 0% financing for 84 months with no money down, but only while funds last. So call Broadleaf today, your local factory-authorized Bryant dealer. For a free quote, call 609-390-3907 or visit broadleafs.net. Bryant, whatever it takes.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card, good for use, at Doyle's Poorhouse in Tuckerton for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at SeizeTheDeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to SeizeTheDeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com. You're listening to The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, getting out of here tonight. Time for the Bet365 play of the day. Hey, thanks to the Fanatics Sportsbook, as always, for having us on a Monday. Josh, give us the update from our Bet365 play of the day.
Well, Mike, I hate to let you know, but you went 0 for 4 on Friday.
Get out of here.
Devonta Smith obviously didn't get the over on the receiving yards. Drake London didn't get the over on the catches. He missed that by a half. Addison didn't get the over on the catches. He missed that by a half. Brock Purdy didn't get the over on the passing yards.
It's a rough day.
I mean, the hooks killed you on 2 of those.
Yeah.
That's in the red right there, man. You missed the cut.
Well, what's the overall standings?
31 and 22.
Yeah, still a lot of money there. 31 and 22. You're making some bucks. All right, tonight I got a couple plays for you there, Peachy. You ready?
2 games.
2 games. I got one on each. Under 50 tonight. I'm going under 50 in the Ravens-Bucks game. The under 50, 8-0 since December of 2022 in this spot with the Buccaneers is the one play. And Cardinals, I'm going Cardinals plus 1.5. They are 6-0 against the spread when they lost the week before by 21 or more. They got bombed last week by Green Bay. Cardinals a home dog tonight, so I'm going to go Cardinals plus 1.5. They are 6-0 in this spot. Okay,
you going to watch that ESPN Plus? 9
I'll
p.m.?
go to it when the other one's over.
Yeah,
I guess so. Right? I mean, the one game starts at 7:30.
7:30 pregame.
Yeah, by the way, the Cardinals, they're at home tonight. That's the late game. We have the Ravens-Buccaneer game for you.
That's the game of the night right there.
Yeah. Regular season primetime unders with a total 49 are 8-0 to the under. The over is 50 tonight. So I'm going to keep that trend and I'm going to go with the under in the first game of the night, which you can hear right here on 97.3 ESPN. We're going to have Flyers tomorrow at 6. Sixers opener Wednesday night. We'll have more on that.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia.